It is Wednesday, December 21st, 2016. Welcome to another episode of Redacted. This episode is brought to you by Antlion Audio with their new Mod Mic 5.
Hold on, Bored. You ready? Let's do it.
What are you doing? Oh.
We're going to take our mod mics off.
Oh,
you
okay.
always do it, Bored.
Oh, he always does it. It's what we use for the podcast, and it's great for when we have to use it for like other things. I use it for Discord and stuff like that all the time with Skype. Also, we have a t-shirt store that is up on TeePublic, ! store in chat, with all the redacted shirts and designs and things like that on that. Feel free to go check that out. That'll also be underneath the channel. And last but not least, we have our Patreon, which allows us to do the podcast and the website and all kinds of cool stuff. And the website's coming along really well.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna thumbs up.
Maybe this weekend.
Maybe this
like,
weekend.
Almost
maybe kind
I'm gonna
of.
Chris Roberts it. I'm gonna Chris Roberts it right now. We're going to move the website over this weekend.
Ah!
And then
Guys, you've had the
it's-
website since March last year. You just didn't know it.
we've always had the website. You just
We
didn't
have
know.
all.
Exactly.
I mean, it's true. We always have had the website.
Yep.
But we haven't had the refactored high fidelity website.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to land on a planet with this website.
Oh my fucking god! Different.
Yeah.
We're about to land on Mars and still get this website.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's start with Twerk. What have you been up to this week, man?
Playing 2.6. What have you been up to? No, just playing 2.6. Today I didn't actually. I played Mass Effect because I watched everybody last night while working on the website, doing the last like little bits that I wanted done. And yeah, so I got that up and done, and then I watched everybody streaming Star Citizen, and it was crashing nonstop. So I said, I'm gonna play Mass Effect today. But no, overall playing 2.6, and I found the Easter egg mission, which was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You're showing that video now. It's a long video. It's like a 20-minute video. But yeah, so
Right on.
that was it.
That was
So-
what?
That's pretty much it. That was the week.
Yeah,
it was-
can't
I'm
do
just-
anything about that.
Yeah, just letting you know.
Mm-hmm.
Saurus, you do realise that was your own inner monologue escaping through your mouth rather than through Skype.
No, I saw. I can't type. I can't open the typing window. Otherwise, it
So,
fucks up the
it's
cameras. So,
Right
yeah, right on. And obviously, you've been working on the website and all of that stuff with your brother. And
You see this face? I mean, the Twitch plugin you've seen, it's coming along really nice. So my
Yeah.
brother's making his own Twitch plugin because the Twitch plugins that are out there are kind of shit or don't even really work.
Mhm.
So now the one that we have that he made himself from scratch is coming along really, really cool. It's really, really nice. So yeah, still needs some more work, but it's like right there.
right on.
Mm-hmm.
And Bored, what have you been up to?
So, I mean, obviously, I've been playing loads of 2.6, as I was even before we could talk about it. But
Yeah.
Now we can talk about it. Now we can actually play together, which is great. So I've been hanging out with Twerk playing. I've been hanging out with other content creators, playing as much as I can, and watching as much 2.6 other people's content as possible, so I
Mhm.
can steal tips and tricks for actually getting better at stammering, that sort of stuff. I've put a linked a clip in the document. Can you possibly play that? Is that a possibility?
I could. I need to close this video I have up. Hang on.
So I'll talk while you're putting it up.
What
So
video?
there's a little clip. There's a Twitch clip in the document. Do you want me to?
He didn't
Nope.
put it on the video
Nope.
side. It's in
I
the
don't-
board gamer.
Oh,
God,
Oh.
I'm so. There you go. There you go.
I have to make things difficult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. He made it so difficult that time.
Put it on with sound if possible. But I completed Pirate Storm as well. But I was doing it on stream while chatting to people,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it's basically this shows my week for me. This sums up my week. What's happening here? Are we rolling BT? Are we on?
We should hear it if it's rolling.
I don't
Okay.
have audio for it. Is there? It's just you
Oh,
crashing over and over again.
oh, Well, no, that's not what it's supposed to be. Basically, I was talking like, okay, guys.
Oh, this one.
It's the last wave or second to last wave. We've just completed this wave. We're just going into it. We've got one life left. Got to be extra careful, extra careful. And I go, I'm gonna grab these pickups, and I fly towards the pickups,
blowing up,
and then my teammate just rams into me.
Oh, that was your teammate
speed.
that rammed into you.
Yeah.
I thought it was the pickup that blew you up.
That's
So
funny.
Oh.
I see it.
At least
and
you
I
got to
know-
finish that, man.
Well, I thought as well. I'm going to use cruise speed to make sure I don't hit him. And then I realised that I've used cruise speed, and that's because of that. It's gonna hit him. And there's just the realisation of, oh, for fuck's sake.
See, I couldn't finish Pirate Swarm because it would crash on me.
Crashed.
Yeah.
So loads of people were
Unfortunately.
having those crashes.
Right when I get to like wave 16 or 17, it's like, ah, shit.
That's kind
Yeah.
of.
I avoided this patch in hopes that they would get some fixes done today and patch tonight,
Mhm.
So-
like towards the end of the podcast.
Complete that Pirate Storm, you get the 2946 Pirate Aggressor PTU patch, PTU title,
Yeah.
which get removed as
And
soon as it goes live.
when it goes to
Yeah.
live, you'll also get either a skin or a ship, the ability to
I think-
purchase it.
Yeah,
I
I
think-
think that you're going to be able to. I think you'll have to do it again, obviously, in the live build.
Yes. Oh, definitely. You'll definitely have to do it again in live to unlock that, and then to unlock it on your normal.
I was pleasantly
account.
happy with the difficulty of Pirate Swarm, which seems to be higher than Vandal Swarm, basically.
Yeah.
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 But,
You
ships-
said with the
the-
pickups it's gotten a little bit easier. I didn't play the patch with the pickups.
The
so-
pickups help out quite significantly, especially when you're going to refuel and repair and
Mhm.
rearm.
Yeah,
and
the
all that.
repair one I saw just repairs you, huh?
Mhm.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the missile pickups and the ballistic pickups. You can run a full ballistic build, which wasn't as useful in Vandal Swarm before because you run out of ammo. But now ammo's not a problem because you can pick up ballistics, and you
Yeah.
can pick up missiles really often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're going like, oh, I'm fighting a Cutlass or a Constellation, chuck a couple of rockets into it, a couple of missiles into it, that's dead. At the very least, you've disabled it enough that it's not a threat anymore. So you can come back to it later, and it's just like spinning around, going, help me.
so
I found it quite easy, but it's certainly harder than Vandal Swarm was.
just to interrupt real quick, for those of you guys that have HCS voice packs, C Dizzle just typed in the chat and said they're sending out emails to say they've updated them to 2.6, I believe. So
Okay.
that's pretty exciting. So I'm ready to get going and use mine then.
What about you, Saurus? What have you been up to?
I've just been playing a lot of 2.6. The first day, actually, with Twerk, I brought him on. He was kicking around, and went and looked at all the different like things like Benny's Stonehenge and things like that. Whereas that we have a little thing of us screwing around in that. So doing all that stuff, messing around, playing some Star Marine. I'm in love with how the arenas,
Coco.
the Star Marine maps look like. I'm in love with the music system in the Persistent Universe. Outside the Persistent
When it's
Universe.
on.
No, it's working now. It's been working
Okay,
since
cool.
the last patch.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's been really awesome. Like the sounds, all the new stuff. It's been really fun.
Nice.
Obviously, I've been experiencing the same issues as everybody else with latency and things like that, and we're going to talk about that stuff in a little bit here. But other than that, I mean, not a whole lot. I did some furniture shopping and things this week. So I have that furniture showing up this afternoon.
Yay.
And then, yeah, yay! Except for I'm not looking forward to trying to
Put it
weasel that.
together,
No.
weasel
It's
it in.
put together. It's not. I didn't get it from IKEA, but
That's where I get all my furniture, so I assume you have to put it together.
Yeah, so it's like I gotta fucking get it through the door and stuff like that. I might have to take it apart to put it through the door, but we'll see. But yeah, overall, just been having a lot of fun with 2.6 and messing around and getting some real life stuff done here and there, getting ready for the holidays for everybody. And yeah, that's pretty much been it for me.
How many confirmed teabags have you got in Star Marine?
I haven't teabagged anybody. Only because when you in those maps, man, if you don't pay attention for more than 2 seconds, even a second, like especially Echo 11, you get shot from one of 360
A million
degrees.
blazes, yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean-
it's I don't fuck around with that stuff. It's bad. Like I said, the latency is bad enough. It's one thing for me to get killed by a bug or whatever. It's another thing for me to get killed because I'm being a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so no, I mean,
No, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna be a douchebag once everything all smooths out.
I
But
think you just called us a douchebag for teabagging.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
I mean, me and Twerk
Huh.
were doing it as a two-man like teabag party.
But I think I wear my douchebag
yeah,
pin
I'm
with pride.
yeah, okay. Maybe you missed the
fun.
part where I said I'm gonna do that, and I did that before. I'm just not willing to get killed over it right now. That's all.
Oh, okay. So
I'm just waiting.
To me, it's almost it's an essential part of the kill for me. So I have to plan the kill,
Yeah.
knowing that the teabag is going to occur. And when we were in a game with Matachi on the other team with me and Twerk.
Yeah, I only
earlier this
teabag
week,
other streamers. That's it.
And Matachi sees me. We fight. I kill him. I start to teabag him. Just as he dies, see something in his hand. He dies.
And
he
he
just explodes
explodes,
because
yeah.
he's dropped it. He has a grenade in his hand as he died, and then he comes into the voice chat channel and just goes, "I hope you like that grenade, you son of a bitch." Just leaves again. It's just like, oh, that was the perfect teabag.
I
I
did
actually
get
think I have
blew
that
my
clip.
balls
I'll
off.
throw it in the chat.
a really good grenade kill yesterday. I heard someone running down the hall, and I was sort of hidden around a corner, and I heard them get close, and I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? So I threw the grenade around in the other room, and literally just as he came out and he turned around and saw me, it exploded, and he flew across. It was glorious.
Oh, there was some so. Is 2.6 Star Marine the top of our list to discuss? It's not, is it?
No, because usually the best things I put at the end.
So there's
Okay.
something I want to bring up first. So Steve J 1397 has donated a Drake package. So that means it has a cutlass, a caterpillar, and a dragonfly, and that started right now. So exclamation point 2.6 in chat to get into that. No board, you're not allowed.
For fuck's sake! Come on. Need to start more sock puppet accounts. Yes. Fuck's me.
All I'm gonna do is shake my head.
Let's try and figure out which one it is. It's he put up his own account. Oh, he exclamation point twice like a dick.
No shit.
Uh,
No, they've scuffed me.
If board wins, I'll just re-roll it.
Yeah.
And also, I want to announce that we've brought on another content creator, Detox TV. If you haven't
Yep.
checked him out, Twerk, if you could put that link in chat.
Got
for-
it. Already
you.
on it.
Twitch.tv/DetoxTV. He's been streaming for a while. British dude. Really cool. Bases all of his stuff around, what is it? Not Super Troopers.
Starship.
Starship Troopers. Yeah.
The mobile infantry, or immobile infantry as he calls them.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it for housekeeping. For us, so we
Did we do the redacted monthly?
No, exclamation point
Yeah.
monthly in chat for the redacted monthly. And what is that this month?
The same as last month. It's a Alpha, Star Citizen, and Squadron 42 package.
See how many thousands of people think that it's you have to enter
It's
that
a
way.
keyword. No, it's a link. So exclamation point monthly to get the link. Click on the link and enter through that.
Mm-hmm.
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 How about that holiday live stream?
Well,
So we our podcast was before it, and the last time we got together, we talked about kind of what we expected to see, and I don't think any of us expected to see that.
I streamed to it, and my fail face essentially emote made it to the front of Reddit. We did
Yeah.
it! We did it, Reddit.
It felt like I had been teabagged IRL by it, and that's why I'm sharing the teabag love now in Star Marine.
Yeah.
Like, it was, oh man, so cringy, man. So many technical problems.
I'm trying to find. Hang on, where is it? I'm looking for something in particular.
Is it this?
Oh, probably. I'm gonna find it though.
There it is. Bored cringe. Oh, you're looking for video, huh?
Yeah.
For
I got it.
okay.
I got it.
So while you're doing that, me and Bored will chat a little bit. I thought
It's
you were
up.
looking to just type
No,
in
no,
emote.
it's-
chat, and I'm like,
no,
"Hey,
no,
he
it's
hasn't even
there.
fucking typed it yet. This is
It's
simple."
there.
There's like emote menus and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, in the myriad of audio issues, non-communication of when people were live, screen switching fuck ups,
What
like
with the videos playing in the background? That was super weird.
yeah, I don't know what was going. Like they green screened and they're green screening other people in, and it was like, how does this even happen?
I now know what Sandy's bag looks like. That got some airtime. Her Prada bag. I thought that was a very nice
Hey.
there.
Hey, Sandy, what's up? What's up? We can be buddies.
And it was just, there was some weird stuff. It was odd when they cut to things. It was the weird Beefeater and Captain America or whatever the fuck that Tyler was supposed to be. It was all cringy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything about it was cringe. Like, they're like, did anything go smooth? There might have been a few things that went smoothly.
Anything that was pre-recorded that wasn't the emergent gameplay, pre-recorded emergent planned gameplay. I don't even my brain didn't
Honestly,
even work that out.
Even the pre-recorded stuff was heads on a swivel, fucking S formation, like really bad.
Like, I'm sorry, and I know this comes from being a content creator probably, but Bored brought this up, and it made a lot of sense with the fact that we really should have, that what they really probably should have done is take, like, similar to what they did with CitizenCon, send in your clips, we will edit them into a video of emergent gameplay, because then it's natural, it's real, it's a real thing, right? So where you can't say, hey guys, let's all get together and make some emergent gameplay. No, you get together, and then emergent gameplay tends to happen.
Hey
like,
guys, here's your natural script.
yeah.
Read
So
it.
it was just kind
Word
of
for
like,
word, please.
yeah, it was just kind of weird. So, yeah. So I don't really understand what that was all about. The funny thing is overall, if we didn't hear them talking and there was just music playing behind it, it actually would have been a really cool video, and it would have showed off what you can do in the Star Citizen universe right now, and it was pretty awesome, I think. But it was the scriptedness of it that was kind of just like, yeah. It was kind of it was just weird, you know? It was
weird. It was uncomfortable to watch.
Here it is. Here it is here.
Man,
Oh, no. This one was kind of good. This one was all right. He started talking. Oh, no, they were waiting. Waiting. He's talking to people. Yeah, anyways. And they zoom in on his face. Oh, poor Cameron.
I love Cameron so much. He's a dear friend.
not anymore.
Yeah. I mean, oh my god. You've got to be able to take a joke in the community, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to be able to.
Yes.
You've got to be able to roll with the punches.
I mean, when
and
you
take a
when you
joke.
put yourself out there, it's something you need to be able to do, right? You need to be able to deal with that, the jokes, the memes, the criticisms, for sure.
If you saw people with that face paint on in public, yeah, what country would you think they're from?
Not Canada or the United
Russia.
States. Korea?
Russia.
Yeah, Russia.
Korea.
Yeah,
Not
isn't
England or Germany or Europe? Possibly some of the Eastern Europe.
The only
European
one
bloc.
was Andrew Nicholson, who had the German paint on his forehead. That was the only guy that was like,
Yes.
that guy might be from Germany. And I don't even think he is. He's from the UK.
Oh man.
It's so ridiculous.
I But it was okay. So I like the fact we're able to look back on it and laugh rather than able to look back on it and be angry, because there was a bit of anger, a bit of annoyance, and a bit of sort of like, really don't do these live streams if you're not going to interact with the audience, because they didn't. So why do a live stream? And B, if it's going to be a technical nightmare, which felt like they hadn't tested it in these kind of scenarios.
It still feels like, well, you know, whatever, 4 years later, that they still don't know what they're doing on Twitch. And I think that they, at this point, they should reevaluate what it is they're streaming. I think for an event, it makes sense. For like I'm being completely honest. I think for a large event like CitizenCon, it makes sense. For something like this, that there's not a live audience there for, and it's not like whatever, I don't think it's necessary to stream it.
It's the irony and the beauty in chat at the moment with what they're complaining about CIG stream with these frame drops.
I know. Well, this is
nothing we can do. It's a technical nightmare.
Yeah.
We love CIG. Finger guns.
I know what the problem is. And we're back. And we should be fine.
Yeah.
I thought it's just because Skype is running and Skype normally isn't running. And it's a resource hog. So it won't let me stream 60 frames a second with Skype up. So we won't see the true movement of Twerk and Bored. We're only going to see them every other frame now instead of...
I think our cameras are probably set to 30 frames a second anyway.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, overall, I like it would have been. Oh, that's not what I wanted. That's what I want. Yeah, I'm gonna still stick with what I was saying. Is I think for major events where they have, like, it's something that people are going to and have big reveals and stuff like that, makes sense for a live stream. I think for things like this, isn't quite as necessary. And the thing is they can work on it over a period of time instead of crunching. Because I imagine they crunch really hard for these. And it's like, instead of crunching up to 1 day, they can just work on it and get it all edited together over weeks or months or whatever.
Like, in my opinion, I mean, we discussed this quite a bit, is I honestly don't feel that we even need a anniversary live stream, December live stream. CitizenCon doesn't have to be on a certain date for me. Like, I would love to see CitizenCon sometime in the winter, Gamescom in the summer, mix a few little things in there, maybe, you know, fly some YouTubers and streamers, do your thing like they've done, like show small reveals for not major patches, and that's it. And they don't have to do anything amazingly fantastic, but at the same time, they want to bring in new people, and what brings in new people is production value, right? But they have to make sure they have it. Yeah,
you don't need a relevant production value. So with this live stream, they had loads of cuts, they had loads of movements from cameras, they had loads of sets set up. Why? They it didn't
they
make
need
any
to
sense.
show production value is content for me. Good content to show.
They could have pre-filmed all of that, and it would have been better. It would have looked better. It would have had a high production value. Simple equals win. There's no point in overcomplicating anything. I never understood that. I understand that they want to have great production values and showing everything live. Well, I don't understand why you'd want to do that, unless you're interacting specifically with the audience or there's some super reason. I love them live streaming the stage show stuff. So when they're doing a live performance,
but they hire a professional company to do that.
But the stuff they do there is literally they could just show the audience and the main projector, and I'd be happy.
Yeah,
I like seeing the cuts to the different people on their screen. I do like that, and they seem to do that pretty well when they do those live streams.
Yeah,
and we didn't have any problems with cuts to people, except it's weird when you go from having music in game to then going to seeing like Tyler or someone talking about the game, and it's silent in the background. So there's no music or anything there. That's weird. I'd want to have that music and sound still there. I mean, I know I'm being really nitpicky, and the state of my stream is shit. So let's have everything in its place and perspective here. But I'm allowed to be picky, you know, because I'm a dick.
I think personally, like, I think one of the big issues was the difference or the limited amount of time between Gamescom and CitizenCon.
Like,
and I honestly feel like Gamescom should be their European event, and CitizenCon should be their North American event, and they should be 6 months apart.
I mean, I know I'm being really nitpicky.
Hang on 1 second. I'm getting
my stream is shit. So
the new dashboard. I can't pause it,
have everything in its place,
and it's playing even minimized. Okay, rip. Bye dashboard. Okay.
Bye dashboard.
Bye.
Yeah, I just closed it because it was echoing everything.
I think it should be helping now.
Oh, it's done. It's closed.
Okay.
So, yeah. I mean, what benefits do you think did you guys? Well, not benefits, but what was your favorite part of the live stream? Other than like any of the comedy things that came out of it.
Oh no, the driller was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's everybody's, right? Was the driller and then the official size comparison.
Mine was actually the character stuff, even though they were mostly still images of the Vandal. How they showed the armor was actually
like
graphed onto them
and stuff. Yeah, they look really cool.
Yeah, we got a really nice look at the Vandal, and that was pretty cool.
So we can
talk about the Vandal that we didn't know before as well. So like they can breathe or survive in a vacuum. For quite a while, so literally in space. So they'll probably be boarding your ship without spacesuits if they wanted to. The more experienced Vandal wear less armor. So the more armor you see Vandal wearing, the younger or less combat experienced they are. They don't feel pain in the same way, which is why they have that grafted armor. Not in the same way as humans, anyway.
Yeah.
They're
and how the older or the braver they get, the more armor they take off. So if you're fighting, if you're coming at if a guy's coming at you with no armor, he's a badass motherfucker, and you better watch out. I think that's pretty cool too. So when you see a Vandal with a ton of armor, you're like, easy peasy, and you can kill him probably. But these other guys, I think that'll be cool.
It seems a weird way to protect your soldiers, though, doesn't it? So, like, surely.
Well, before we get too much more into the Vandal, I just wanted to, and the reason I was asking that is because that was everybody's response, was the Vandal stuff. And the stuff that we saw, apart from the reveal, was everything we would see in an ATV.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was behind-the-scenes look, the Vandal character stuff, the ship reveal. Like, for a lot of that stuff, as a pre-recorded ATV kind of thing, it was the highlight for everything. It was good seeing like some of the 2.6 like FPS stuff later on.
Yeah.
But because we didn't have the patch then for that, but it didn't feel necessary, and it didn't really show anything new.
Yep. No, I agree.
At least I feel that CIG are able to generate money for their game based on the merits of their game rather than based on any form of showmanship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
they're definitely devs.
So they're definitely devs, and I respect them for being devs and good at making a game.
Good at deving things.
Good at making pretty ships, making stuff pretty, high fidelity, deving, but not for technical expertise when it comes to camera cuts. Red One Jared, and there's just always been problems.
Well, I don't think we blame Jared for that, because I don't think Jared was the one cutting the cams, but because he was on camera, right? But
wasn't deep on camera.
Yeah, so it was just what it was just I don't know what happened, but it just when things just started to snowball, like there was times where like they got the audio right and everybody in chat was like happy, and then the next time they came back to LA, the audio wasn't, and you're just like, what the hell?
Kind of enjoyed as well, actually, was the little the UK video of them training to play in
the LA chat. One was good.
Like that was like that. The thing is that was intentional.
Yeah.
Which
Intentional cringe.
which is okay, and that's okay. The first video was not intentional. The long 2-minute pauses in between scene changes were not intentional. The audio issues where they had the wrong mic set up, or there was no mic at all, or it was set to Chris's and Sandy's mic still when it was on something else, and they're whispering in the background. Those were the things that
I'm glad they were whispering.
With the British like silly thing they did with smashing the monitors, flipping the table, and mince pies and stuff, I'd love to see that as a monthly thing that the British studio does. So they mix in what they do genuinely with the development of the game, but also with a Terry Tate kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Table flipping going on in the back kind of stuff. I find that funny because it's just so odd, just so weird. It's a little bit like Office cringe, and I liked that.
One of the other big things that they showed was the Miss Razor, which is the new racing ship.
Mm-hmm.
What were you guys' thoughts on that, and did you guys pick one up?
I picked one up for a giveaway and one for myself.
What, you bought one?
I
for
really
yourself?
like it. Yeah.
It's the ship I've liked the least.
Not really for myself. I'll
Really?
eventually give it up. But yeah.
I think it looks cool.
I love the fact that it is a F1 car. I think there's definitely a space in the Star Citizen universe for something that goes, this is an F1 car. It's just not for me. I look at it and go, I mean, I could strap guns onto it to militarize it, but I'm not a massive fan of racing. And it's just, I look at it and just go, that's just for racing.
Do you like the M50?
Yeah. Feels more like a skirmisher to me. And I know you could do pretty much the same thing with the F1 car, but in a different way. Like it says it's made just for speed, like in a single direction, effectively. But I'm sure it's got some agility and stuff, and it's got very good at regenerating boost fuel or afterburn fuel because of its weave on it.
I just think I love the design of it. I think they did such a good job of taking a Formula One car and making it into a futuristic ship, and not making it look like the M50, because that was also kind of the design cue of an M50.
But have they made
like having a small ship like that size having to look different? I imagine could be a design difficulty. Yeah.
I think to me it looks too much like an F1 car. And I know it's supposed to, but it looks like they've literally just gone F1 car.
But take off the wheels.
Spaceship.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it. It looks beautiful. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
I find it hard to hype it.
Yeah.
That's hard for me because I can hype everything. I love this class. See?
Yeah. They had some cool designs though, and I hope that they play with some of those as a variety of other racing ships.
Yeah.
As the game progresses or comes out and stuff like that, because there are some really cool designs in there as well. Cool concepts of like a single-seater like race ship.
There are definitely some cool designs that I can see for non-racing ships.
Yeah, non-racing or even racing ships as well.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. The Vanduul video though, that Vanduul video.
It was sexy.
There is, I think, an escort carrier. But the Vanduul ships are so much larger than their UEE comparison ships.
Do you not have the... Oh, never mind. It didn't make a little link. Never mind. I see it.
Do we think that the hugeness of the Vanduul ships is a show-off of their might? Or do you think the UEE ships are going to be measurable at the same level? So
I don't think they're going to be as measurable to the same level. I think they need to make the enemies difficult in this,
or
especially for the long term.
Always, Chris Roberts games, the enemy feels overwhelmingly more powerful than you, right? So for a game like Squadron 42, it has to feel like the humans are... For all the Wing Commander games, it always felt like you had a 1% chance
Yeah, the
to
odds
win,
were against you.
And you pulled it off, right? So the Vanduul just have to look and feel like that to you. If it's going to live up to the Wing Commander games and things like that, which why wouldn't Chris tell a similar story? Because it's just some of the best storytelling in game history, probably, right? And it's gonna be something like that, you know, and that's why. And who knows? And like one of the things is like animals breed at different rates, right? So what if Vandal just breed at like super
what
high
if
rate
they're
and they
like
just have tons
a
of them,
swarm
you know?
of them? I
Yeah,
mean,
they're just like ants.
their design, like style guide, is amazing too, with the bioluminescence and like the very uh, alien-esque HR Geiger feel to everything, with that like bioluminescence in both the ships and their characters, and like you were talking about earlier with their integrated armor sets and all of that stuff as well. I mean, it just is so cool.
Yeah.
They're still my favorite for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they also had a nice little well, the first official scale,
Which was kind of funny. They jumped in scale pretty quick.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. They go from human to dragonfly to gladius. I'm like, okay, to Idris. I was like, what?
No Connie, no, yeah.
Yeah, no, like in between, no, like Cutlass, Constellation, Starfarer,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it just sort of went blup blup blup, and then but the Vandal ships are much bigger than I imagined. I thought that the
Jaylee made a good
think
point
the
too.
Driller
They're
would
a
be
lot
that big.
taller than us.
Yes, they're a lot bigger than us in general.
Yeah.
And that's partly because of low gravity as well. Their ships are built for low gravity, so they jump around. So they don't have stairs. I think that's right on lots of their ships. So they're going to be jumping around from platform to platform. So I think that's obviously the larger space is integral to that as well.
Now,
they move.
With that, like we looked at the King ship as a total length of 2.8 kilometers long, and that's all great and awesome and whatever. Same with the Driller and all these other big ships, and it's nice to get excited about them and stuff like that. But there is real technical hurdles to get those kind of things in, and to get those kind of ships in. And I kind of wanted to open a discussion with you guys and ask you, do you think they should be showing these kind of ships or even talking about them if they're unsure if they're going to be able to get them in? Because at this point, to be honest, it's an unknown whether they're going to be able to get these huge, massive... Like, it's one thing for a Starfarer or a Caterpillar or maybe even an Idris, but you're looking at something that's 2.8 kilometers long, and we know that there's those other UEE ships that they've shown off before, like the Retribution and things like that. Do you think that those should be things that they keep under wraps until they know for sure that they're going to be able to bring those into the game?
So I think they're definitely going to have them in. Like, certainly, it's just an issue of when. Now, with the single player stuff, which is what they're mainly for, at the moment anyway.
Right.
It's a lot easier.
Way easier. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we're arguing whether they're going to be in the single player campaign at all.
Okay.
Like, because
because
they can use tricks and stuff if they had to. They could use loads of tricks.
So even if they never showed up in Star Citizen, they could be a one-off ship in Squadron 42 that blows up at the end, and then
I think
it's not an
even
issue.
if they wouldn't. So say they hit some technical hurdles, yeah.
Right.
They sit down and they go, "Fuck, we can't put this kingship in multiplayer, not for another like 4 years because we just don't have the tech. It would create so many server problems." They'd find a way around it, which would cheat it in. So they'd have wrecks of them. They might have it as something that's not flyable but is attackable as like a space station or something. They'd find a way of putting it in, even if they couldn't put it in the way they wanted.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't think they'd show it if they weren't confident that they could do it. So I think they'll just like super heavily LOD these things, and I think they're getting pretty good at that stuff, and hopefully we'll see them like that, but you won't see the detail until you get up close. I mean, guys, look at the level of fidelity on the characters that we have now when you get up close to them. Like they're getting there. It's lame. We said the same shit last year where okay, they were they're building the ship pipeline, you know, they're getting all the back end stuff working, and then once they put that in, it's all just going to be content drop. And we thought that's what 2016 was going to be a content drop year.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't, because they took things to the next level again. And in order to get those in, we can't really make any. I honestly don't feel like we can make any comments on it until we see what they do with when 3.0 comes in. How many people we have in an area, what kind of ships we're having, how far out are we seeing them, what FPS are we getting then? Then I think we can make the judgments on, is it possible or isn't it possible? It's very easy to say it's not possible when we're playing in 24-person servers, a fucking Starfare loads in, and you go down to 3 FPS for a few seconds while it loads in, right? So like, it's hard for us to say those things yet without knowing about the tech that they are confident that they're building, and it's going to happen type of thing.
The low level network rewrite that we're supposed to be getting with 3.0, and then them trying to get Idris in for the first time fighting each other. So they don't want to put Idrises in or the capital ships in until they can have 2 of them fighting each other with fighter support. And when we're testing that, we're going to see how viable it is to get these larger and larger ships in. And it is an integral part of Star Citizen to have capital ship battles. It's just obviously the scale of some of them.
If 3.0 is a dumpster fire, it's going to be hard to have confidence going forward. So it's really important that like, obviously the initial release is not going to be smooth, but
no,
we all
and it's just something that it's more of a food for thought thing. Like, you know, we are at that stage where we can't, you know, we can only have a limited amount of ships in the universe and stuff. And while I realize that we don't have the new netcode, we also don't have the new netcode. So it's like that, and that's sort of where I'm going with that, right? Is they don't know what the capabilities of that are yet, and as much as they would like to maybe bring some of those things in, it may just turn into a technical impossibility. And I'm not saying that it is, because we don't know.
No,
I'm sure they don't know either way, but and that's sort of synonymous with this project as well, right? Like, they're doing a lot of things that no other project has done and stuff like that, and we haven't hit anything yet where
it's been a super snag.
It's been like, you know what, we can't do this, you know. They haven't hit anything like that yet. Do you think there's a possibility of them hitting something like that going down the road? Do you think outside of the network code?
Absolutely. There's always the possibility. And like, anytime anybody asks, you know, do you think this game is going to come out and all that stuff? It's like, I don't know. There's always the chance that something bad can happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the 3 of us think it's going to happen, because we kind of dedicated our content creation on the internet careers on this game, right? Mm-hmm. So we're confident in the game. I don't want to make it sound like we're not confident, because I certainly am. But there's always that chance, definitely. Of course. Yeah,
I mean, there's a chance, a very minute chance, that I might turn into, I don't know, a horse while on stream. It's unlikely.
I'm not
going to do horse impressions.
I don't think the odds are the same.
I don't think the odds.
No,
are.
You're right. But what I'm saying, there's always a small chance of anything, and it would be insane to not think there is a small chance that something could go wrong with the game development. But I would say that I would hope and I would expect that they would go, well, we can't do this. We can't do a part of this. We are going to work our way around it and do something else. Or
they have to cheat. At some point, they have to cheat to get awesome things in.
Something that stands out for me is their VR stretch goal. I've said this a million times on both the podcast and on my channel. I don't think it's going to be technically possible. Though while they can put VR in and can make it so you can wear a headset and use the controllers and stuff like that, the motion for first person on your feet is the challenge, right? Being able to move around and stuff like that, to make it worth putting VR in.
In Arena Commander, cool.
Arena Commander, right? It makes sense, but in everything else, it doesn't make sense, and that may be one of those things where they're gonna have to say, you know, well, look, it's just not going to be possible for this, you know, because the movement is too much of an issue.
I mean, they could probably say, well, we put it in. It's an Arena Commander, you know.
Right.
So. Yeah.
We didn't see a Squadron 42 anything vertical release.
Vertical slice.
Vertical slice. No release date.
They're kind of calling that they kind of mentioned that the Vandal ships were like, we showed you some Squadron 42 stuff, and it's like,
That doesn't count.
that's not really
Sorry.
what we were looking at. We wanted to see some gameplay. I didn't want to see a cutscene of at some point in the game, because that's probably what that was some sort of a cutscene, right? Or just a thing they made with the assets. I don't know, but we wanted to see some gameplay. Just a little thing, even if you showed the redone Moro tour. With the new characters, all that stuff.
I mean, I would have been very happy with the redone Moro tour.
I think the big thing for most people, and myself included, was they said how close they were. It was like a matter of a day or 2 days away for CitizenCon. So I thought that they had ample time, and I was surprised we didn't see it at the anniversary stream. So I was like, oh, for sure, the holiday live stream, they'll show this. Because outside of the Vandal ships that they showed, there was no new content for us to see at all. And so it was like, I expected to see some Squadron 42 stuff or hear about it, and sort of see more about Squadron 42, and we literally got nothing coming out of that.
That was a bummer. I'll play devil's advocate here a little bit, and I kind of agree with this. Like I do feel like this is a valid point. I don't think, and I've rewatched that Road to CitizenCon video, I don't think the thing that they were planning on showing at CitizenCon was the vertical slice. I think what they were going to show at CitizenCon was something.
It was like a mission
from a vertical slice.
They were going to show like a mission.
Yeah, they might have showed a mission, but when Chris said during the CitizenCon live stream, I think that was, they could change the PowerPoint at any time, right? So I'm pretty sure Chris was like, okay, since we didn't show it, this is what I want to do. I want to show a full chapter. I want to show it at, and maybe this is where it differs, at finished quality, right? And I think that might be why the argument that we were only 2 days away is not 100% valid, because I think they changed what they wanted to show.
Yeah, so with the vertical slice,
still,
it's
at the same time, fucking show something. It was supposed to come out this year. You have to give us something at least this year to tell us why it's not out yet.
Yeah, because they kept saying it was coming out this year.
Why. Yeah, like, we know why it's not out yet. There's the subsumption thing that isn't finished yet, and that took longer than they wanted. We still don't even have items 2.0, and that has to have some aspects to it. But you just have to be honest. In a situation where people like us are the ones that are literally paying your fucking salary and buying ships, and it's a different situation than you having to answer to EA.
I'm even going to go above that and be that we're the people on the ground that don't even work for CIG that have to provide answers for them.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I mean, whatever. That's our choice. That's no one's choice but our own.
But that's still part of it, right? Like, it's still like, I don't have an answer for where's Squadron 42, and I thought it was supposed to be out this year. It was. I don't know what happened. It doesn't look good on them. It
just comes down to, this is a crowdfunding project, and if they're going to say that we're going to do open development, you don't have to show me Squadron. I don't want to see Squadron, to be honest. I want it to come out, and I want to love it, and I want to feel it. But if it's a situation where it was not going to be ready for 2016, there has to be some explanation to the community, because people back that game expecting to see it this year. People probably bought Squadron 42 packages because they were hoping to see it this year, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of us felt like, hey, it probably wouldn't happen. And I was one of those people. But it's still, it's just you have to,
I think one of the major issues with the vertical slice was that it has to be at that final shipping level quality for them to show.
Yeah.
And then when they have that, the game's almost completed. So and I think that it's taking them a lot longer to do the vertical slice in the way they want to. They can't have a half-assed one. It's gonna be like a month before the game goes live that we'll probably see it now.
And that's fine, but why are you the one telling me that, Bored? That's my.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it?
You're not the one who's supposed to be telling me that, because we're speculating on it, right?
Yeah.
We're speculating.
They have said that the schedule report will show off 3.0 and Squadron 42 in a similar fashion to what we saw from 2.6.
Okay, I mean that's good. That's almost enough, but I think
it's getting.
Yeah, and I think that type of thing should have happened a little bit before now, right? It should have been.
Get in the time machine then, Twerk, if I can tell them. I can go back in your time machine.
It's not my place to tell them. I think we could sit here and discuss it ourselves, but it's just you got to hope they learn from these things going forward. Just like they're making big strides in video games and trying to do something crazy. The crowdfunding project aspect is also a brand new thing. Learning to go.
Not in all situations, but in a lot of situations, CIG do listen and they do change stuff. Absolutely. They changed RTD and ATV, and even with the terrible technical problems with the holiday live stream, Tyler put up a thing saying, in addition to focus on patch 2.0 and 2.6 and beyond, we have been taking the time to read through a lot of feedback from the holiday stream and can discuss how that we can learn from and grow from the experience. It's no secret that we ran into quite a few hiccups during the broadcast, and we're making every effort to tighten things up. So they do acknowledge.
They recognized it, which is good.
Yeah, and that's important. And we have seen in the past where they have fixed problems with it. They gave us the schedule report as well and stuff like that. These are all big steps forward. They're going to make mistakes. They're effectively a new studio, and they're doing something that's not been done before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, agreed.
Now, before we move on into 2.6 stuff, we have an image here of the first iteration or first look at female body armor.
Ooh.
Yeah, and this was from Sandy's
Sandy's Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now like I don't know if it's 100% female body armor or if it's like something that they're doing with animations, because it's all different colors and stuff. It's weird. But I guess the one point that we can make is it is not overly sexualized like most women are in games, right?
I'm out. I wanted bikinis in space.
Yeah, which is I think that's a good touch. I like that.
I think there may be outfits that you can buy that are a little bit more risque, but the Squadron 42 stuff, it's an armor. Armor's there to protect you from gunshots. You're not Xena Warrior Princess.
Yeah.
Like,
can they not be Xena Warrior Princess?
Well, I'm literally unplayable. I can't role play as Xena.
Literally unplayable.
Armor needs to be protective. Even if it's modular, you shouldn't just be able to have your titty bikini thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they've done this. This is just a rig rather than actual armor. But, you get the sort of like feel for it.
Yeah, and I mean it's not curvy. It's not like your typical video game, and I think that's really good. I think that's a good thing. I'm sorry, but Lara Croft and all these other, it's just kind of ridiculous sometimes. So this is more realistic, and I like that. And I'm sure, like Bored said, if I want to buy a tank top at the store, I probably could. But yeah, armor doesn't need to be revealing like it is in some games. It's
Unless I can dress up as a furry.
Why do female armor only cover their boobs and nothing else? It's fucking armor. It's supposed to protect them, right? So it's just kind of like one of those things. Like, thank you, CIG, for not being like every other game studio. And
it's not like every other game. Like
irony.
If you look at like Mass Effect and things like that, they do it as well.
Mass Effect was still. I mean, I'm just playing it. Mass Effect was still very, very, very like booty.
They wanted to sexualize the characters slightly, whether they're male or female, because you can have sex with them all.
Yeah.
So they do sexualize them for that reason. But I think the irony here is that when you do have those games that have the sexy armors, they never get shot when the place they're armored, do they?
Yeah.
They never get hit there. You never get you never get hit in the bum or the boob.
Guys, 2.6 is here.
Oh, I can't roleplay as a furry that's literally unplayable.
My ears. I got to recover from that a little bit. All right, I'm good. Yeah, I mean, 2.6 is here. It's finally here. We can finally talk about it. It's awesome.
Yeah. So there's basically a quick rundown. We have Star Marine. Yeah. We have major changes to Arena Commander. We have major changes to the flight model. We have additions to the Persistent Universe. We have the new audio engine is in there. New other effects, performance. And like I was saying earlier, man, those Star Marine maps, those space stations look amazing.
They're awesome.
the map design is surprisingly good. And
Yeah.
but there's two maps give very different experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Damien, which is you can't really camp on Damien anywhere because there's so many different levels.
You mean
and
Echo
ways to
11? Echo 11.
No, I mean Damien.
Echo 11 is the big map that has like 30 doors to every room.
But Damien also has like 3 entries to each capture point.
So yeah, so
At least.
So I find that Echo 11 is where you get campers because there's loads of corridors that have little extensions onto them
Right.
with boxes
Yeah,
around.
funnels you to places, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
There's lots of like corridors or choke points.
I find more camping happening on Echo 11
Okay.
with people in places you just don't expect, and they've just been hiding there the whole match. Whereas in Damien, you get people attacking you from all levels constantly.
Yeah.
Like, above you, someone's below you, someone's next to you, someone's on the point, someone's coming down the stairs, and there's 3 ways around that staircase as well. I really like the flow of that map, but they both give different experiences.
Because you can't just say, okay, we took A, and you only have to look down one hallway. Because you can be looking down that one hallway to the, like if you're facing away from A and to the right, like that is where people will funnel, but they can also funnel from up top and in EVA and behind you. I like that because when you capture a point, you really have to defend it.
Right.
It's nice. It's just I really, really like that map. I'm not as big of a fan of Echo. I think just because it's so big, I don't know it as well is probably the reason. But Damien is, I absolutely love that. Absolutely love it. I can play it all day.
The ships that are included in 2.6 are the Caterpillar, the Herald, the Hoplite, the 85X, the new variants of the Saber, Avenger, Gladius, and Hornet, which is the Wildfire, the Valiant, the Comet,
Valiant,
and
the Titan.
The Titan.
Renegade.
Oh, the Renegade. Renegade. Yes. So those will all be available for purchase on the 26th. Is that?
I think so.
I think they're available for purchase now.
They should be available for purchase now, right?
So on the 26th, they're bringing back all of the ships that are on the anniversary live stream as well for one last.
Which I think is a good idea. And the reason I think it's a good idea is for anybody who got a gift card for Christmas or any other holiday or whatever, so they're able to go and use that, and they can use that on whatever they want. And I think that's kind of a nice touch. Being able to do that the day after on Boxing Day. Flight model.
Boxing Day is a major holiday, like everywhere but the U.S., right? Like, is Boxing Day a thing in the UK as well, Bored?
I think banks are closed on Boxing Day.
Okay, cool.
It's a major like shopping holiday. It's our Black Friday.
Gotcha.
In Canada, even though like everything's getting more globalized with the internet and stuff, like we're definitely starting to get a Black Friday thing here. That's what Boxing Day is for us. Is like it used to be where stores would get a fine for being open, but they'd want to just sell all of their Christmas decorations and stuff for really cheap and just get rid of them. And then it just sort of expanded into, we have all these other people in here. Let's mark down all of this other stuff or the last of this year's electronics and things like that. And then it just sort of became this thing. And then in my lifetime, they made it from a day that was a mandatory holiday that it was illegal to be open, and you would get massive like $10,000 fines for being open, but stores were doing it anyways because they were still making a profit on it, to them abolishing that law and whatever. And
cool story.
Flight model. What did you guys think about that? Like the latest iteration, I really like.
I unfortunately, because like I said earlier, I didn't download this patch because it was so unstable that I still haven't seen it yet.
Oh, really?
No.
So
I'll let you guys go with this one, but I know of what it changed, and I like the idea of it.
Sorry, someone's just superimposed my face as a horse on the podcast. So I was looking at that. No, so the flight model, Yeah, it's cool because you can see ships up much closer. It's very much a wing commander experience. You can see the components, the weapons on ships when you're fighting them, because you are fighting them significantly closer. SCM speeds are around halved, so and obviously you've got cruise merged in to Afterburner and that SCM speed mode. So no cruise mode anymore, but cruise is part of the SCM model. So you can boost. You need boost management to use your boost fuel, your Afterburner fuel. And you can use boost for agility, or you can afterburn for extra speed, extra acceleration, and go huge speeds with that. But I do think that cruise, your boost fuel needs to be a lot rarer, a lot harder to get, and like taken away a lot quicker. And that the SCM speeds should be about 15 to 20% faster. Just my opinion, because it's slightly too slow. Your normal speed.
The SCM speed is a little, like where it's at 150, maybe it should be at 200, kind of thing. Is what you're saying, right? Yeah, it's just ever so under where it's very close though. It feels very good.
You know what I think really breaks it sometimes, and I think it's probably better in Arena Commander than it would be in the PU and in the Vandal Swarm and Pirate Swarm game modes. The AI kind of stands still. Right? So you end up kind of slowing down even more than you would normally slow down to kill them, and it makes it feel even slower. So I think maybe when the AI is moving around a little bit more, it might be a little bit better, but I do sort of agree. It does feel slow at times, yeah.
Now, with Arena Commander, those new pickups are now a thing. And you were talking about that a little bit earlier, Bored. When you were in your Pirate Swarm and stuff like that. How do you guys feel about them? How do you feel about the rate that they're dropping? How do you feel about what it is that they drop? What is your favorite thing about it, and what is your least favorite thing about it?
I'll let you go, Bored.
So what, pickups in general?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the pickups at the moment, previously we didn't have them in Vandal Swarm, even the builds I was playing, but when the Swarm modes. But when they were in, I find it significantly easier. Like, it makes ballistic builds and missiles really easy to use, because you can just pick up ballistics and you can pick up missiles quite easily off the corpses.
Yeah.
Does it drop?
And let me just tack on at the end. It's for anybody who's unaware. It's only in Arena Commander. This isn't in the Persistent Universe at all, and will never be in the Persistent Universe. This is something only in the Arena Commander game modes.
Yeah. And does it drop it looks like it to me that it dropped a missile, a ballistic, and a fuel on each kill, right?
No, so it's a bit random. It's not just
okay.
They don't have to drop. Yeah, it's repair, fuel, ballistic, and missiles are things that can drop. And it's not on every kill. It's a little bit random. Sometimes you might get one pickup. Sometimes you might get all four. Doesn't drop on every ship.
Cool.
But it's often enough. Other than when you ram your friends trying to pick up the same pickups. It's often enough to make it a lot easier. So obviously you're fighting big ships in Pirate Swarm, occasionally like the Cutlass, which is relatively tanky, and Constellations. So missiles for them are really useful because you can take them out quicker. And if they look at you or like Vanguards, in fact, even if they're attacking you while you're attacking another ship with a slow fight model, you can get killed very quickly by a Vanguard. Like before you kind of know it, you're like, oh shit, Vanguard. So those missiles are great for disabling and taking them out. And are kind of essential, but the drop rates are just a bit too high for me.
Okay.
Yeah, the drop rates seem really high. Like I think it would be better if it toned back to a random drop of one thing instead of 3 or 4, and then maybe have your bosses drop the repair. Or maybe like the more difficult ships, like the equivalent to the Vandal Alpha, whether that be the Saber or the Vanguard or the Cutlass, drop a repair or have a higher chance of dropping a repair.
I agree with that.
Maybe just have them so that the chances for drops vary on the type of ship that you blow up, but they all have a chance to drop one of whatever. And then that way it's more randomized, because right now it's even with everything that they're dropping, they're all over the map too. I know they disappear after a little bit, but you look around and you can just see all these like sparkling, spinning little things. And it doesn't. You should have that sort of feeling of desperation, like, oh god, I need to kill this guy to get my weapons back, or to get ammo back, or whatever. And it's like, so, and that's that thing where it's like luck of the draw, and it's gonna be like, ah, shit, I didn't get her. Yes, I got it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
you know.
I agree.
And I think that would be really cool. So that's the only thing that I would change with that. And they may not be doing that right now, just to test it all out and make sure everything all works properly and all that other fun stuff. And then we're gonna have some different opinions, I think, on this. We may or may not, but in Star Marine, I want to know what your favorite things are about Star Marine, and what your least favorite things are, and what things you would want to change going forward.
I think my favorite thing my favorite thing is probably the level design of Station Damien.
It's good. It's really good.
Yeah. My least favorite thing is the grenades.
OP grenades.
Yeah.
You
know.
What would you? Okay, so my question to you then would be, what would you do with the grenades to make them?
They gotta damage. They gotta lower it a little bit. Like, there's nothing wrong with, you know, if it's a little bit far. Like, again, we're wearing a ton of armor, and we're firing very powerful lasers and bullets into each other. And one grenade that's you know, throwing a few bits of shrapnel at us. You know, like, I could take two shotgun shots to the chest, you know, from a distance. So, like, not all the pellets are hitting me. Grenades should probably do a similar amount of damage. So maybe lower the damage a little bit, but then obviously we need to know that there is a grenade in our area. It's fucking 2946.
So, you know? This is the thing for me. I'm going to disagree with you a little bit and play devil's advocate. I like that they do a lot of damage right away. I think that they should, because you only get 2 of them. They're minimum, and they're going to require skill. Some of the things that I think need to be changed on them is, one, the animations are fucking atrocious on them right now. There's like a delay after you throw that it sort of pops out, and sometimes it doesn't always throw to where you're looking.
I think that's partly to do with the system they've got for the rolls and lobs. Right. I think that system isn't fully in. So obviously, if you look below your normal horizon line, you'll roll it, and if you look above it or almost on it,
but even so, like, I've had it where I've been like looking up and I throw it and it just drops. Right, it doesn't roll, it doesn't throw, it doesn't drop. It just sort of, it's broken and
flops out of your hand.
Yeah, it just sort of flops out. The second thing is, and this is going to go into other stuff, but I think that if it's your grenade, I think you should have a red marker like what you see on the enemy players on it, so you can see exactly where it is. Only for your grenades. I think that right now the problem with the grenades is you don't hear them hitting the ground. You don't have any sort of audio cues or anything like that, and the visual cues aren't very good, right? So there's no like blinking lights on them. There's nothing to let you know that an enemy is throwing a grenade. You can't hear it. So I think adding some sort of like visual cue and definitely at the very least an audio cue for the grenades. But
there's a small audio cue now, but it's small.
But for your own, I think you should have that triangle of the red flashing triangle.
So yeah, like if my fucking radar can figure out that this guy's an enemy and this guy isn't, then it should be able to notice that, hey, there's a fucking grenade.
That's a whole other discussion we're going to get into in a second.
I'm happy with the HUD on your helmet just going, there's a grenade in the area or something like that. But I think the issue is that, okay, you get 2 of them on spawn. People just spam them. They're just every fucking where. So maybe making grenades persistent when you die, so you have to find pickups of grenades on the level if you've thrown them.
Yeah, maybe like they do with missiles.
Just having 1 grenade when you spawn. That might help a lot. There's lots of stuff.
I mean, the FPS standard is you get 2 grenades with them, and there's other gameplay design elements that they could do to do that, and we've talked about the markers on players, and how I don't ever think, no matter what, you should never see that triangle above them. However, unless you had some sort of equipment that allowed you to do that, and that equipment sacrificed something else that you would have. So say, for example, you could switch your ammo out for tracking ammo that doesn't do as much damage, but then would put a tracker on them, right?
I think when we have different loadouts, that's going to be much better because we'll have a choice between having the grenades or having extra medi pens, having the shields and stuff like that. So I like that idea. But I still think that those grenades possibly shouldn't do as much damage if you're armored. As in, maybe medium and heavy armor really restricts the amount of damage you take from those grenades.
It should definitely be based on distance from the grenade, I think.
Yeah.
I think that if somebody does a good job and throws it within 5 feet of you, rip. Sorry.
Yeah.
But if it's like 10 feet from you or in that range of in between 5 and 15 feet away from you, then maybe you don't take as much damage. It could hurt you a lot. You could start bleeding out because it gets in all those cracks and crevices of your armor.
I'd still like to see like heavy armor just going, well, I don't give a damn about frag grenades, or at least taking a lot less damage from them. So like they did just go, frag grenade. Boom,
it also has to be mentioned, we do not have heavy armor.
Everyone has medium currently.
Medium and light.
Oh, and light. Okay.
Yeah, you have the option.
Can you actually change to light now? Can you?
Yep.
What I did find in the with the grenades, which was quite cool, is you can shoot the grenades, and they move and they explode in their new position.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's not they are where they are. So if you see a grenade in front of you and it's just about to kill you, you can shoot it and it'll go ping and fly off.
That's actually pretty neat.
Yeah. I thought that was actually pretty cool.
But like, you want to go towards the I kind of disagree with you, Saurus, about the markers over the player's head, so we can have that discussion in a little bit.
So
I sort of disagree, not 100%.
Okay, but before we go into that, I'm going to add some things into it. Okay. So I have my full argument, so you know what I'm going into. Number one, the radar is. I like the idea of a radar. I do not like how easily it shows literally everything. If you're running, if you're running, it shouldn't be showing the radar. I get it if you're firing, then maybe it could show you the radar. I would like it if it was more of something that the player earned instead of it was just sort of given to them. So it was something, once again, like instead of using a frag grenade, you had to use like a radar scan grenade, and then it would show you where people are. And then if those people are on your radar, then maybe you could see a marker on them. But even that, I don't think that, and this is my argument against it, okay? You know that area, I think it's on Demian, downstairs, it's outside, in between the two areas where there's the cargo crates.
What's that D?
B and A have the cargo crates.
Okay, I don't play that mode, so I only know elimination. So the little cargo crates area that's outside, that's in the dark, and it's hidden around, it's there's like 3 doors that go inside to other sides. Anyways, so when you're out there and you're running around on either side, you can shoot at somebody and then you lose a visual contact of them behind something, and it's dark, and they can use that to their advantage to go and hide in the shadows or something like that. But they have this big fucking glow in the dark red triangle above them that defeats any purpose of them trying to play tactical or trying to hide, and that's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
Go.
And like, I agree, like, I still think the red glow in the dark thing should be on there, and I think you agree with me with this, but I'm gonna add some things to mine as well. Is originally, like Freaklord just said in the chat, the radar was supposed to be based on noise. I don't know what happened with that, but it's clearly not right now.
Well, I think it's based on noise. It just hears footprints.
Yeah, and because I mean, obviously, you ever start a game, it's like, when people start running, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But the feeling that I have is I like the Battlefield model of, what is it called? Spotting players. So Battlefield does the exact same thing, where it literally puts a fucking bright orange triangle above your enemies' heads, only when they're spotted, though. So
and you have to actively spot them.
You have
I
to
am spotting this enemy.
Exactly. So you press Q to spot the enemy. So if you see like that guy in the shadow over there, you see a little bit of rounds firing from that area, you can try and see them, and maybe you can only spot at a certain distance. I like that, because then what it does is it notifies the players on your team, hey, there is a guy here. It should come up on their radar. The little red dot should be above them for everybody. for
Yes.
a limited
So-
period of time.
I think we
10
both
seconds.
talked about this. I like the idea of having like a laser designator or a type
Yeah.
of ammunition round that does less damage, but when put in them, your whole team can see them. But
Yeah.
the downside to that is there's never going to be a lethal round from that kind of
Yeah.
ammunition, right? So there's
Yeah,
these
it has
checks
to be
and
like a
balances
paintball.
with it.
It's like a paintball.
Right, exactly. And then it glows, and there should be a way for them to get rid of that, but it's a pain in the ass, and they can't
Yeah.
be just hiding behind a box.
So I think we both kind of agree that it's overpowered right now, but there's
Yes.
solutions there that are definitely better than what we have. And again, it's first implementation, so we don't expect everything to be fantastically perfect today.
In fact,
but it's
pretty
cool
good
implementation.
implementation. It's been a pretty good implementation. I've been
I would
pretty
say for
impressed with
first
Starmarine.
implementation, Star Marine's been fucking solid compared
been
to any
pretty
release
awesome.
Star Citizen's had to this date. So that's pretty awesome.
And as
I'm
it should be, because it's
March.
It's
March.
Yeah, March.
2014, boys.
2
March
weeks
2014.
soon.
2 weeks from
Um,
March 2014. We're here. We made it.
We
We made it
It's
to
2 weeks
weeks.
later.
It's
Wow,
only been
Twerk.
2
Wing
weeks.
Commander 3
Twerk,
made it.
yeah. Wow.
I can't say 2 weeks anymore.
You can't.
It feels
Oh,
good.
shit.
Feels good.
That feels
fucking
good, man. Feels
Yeah.
2 weeks, man. Feels 2 weeks, man.
Yeah. So I know you feel very strongly about this topic.
Well,
Doris.
this is something that I don't know if we should even get into an argument about, because I know that we are both on the same page with this for the most part. That we
Still, I
don't
think-
know it's okay. So the issue is
things with people, because I think some people agree with you, but I don't think people quite understand why we
Right.
feel as bullet spongy as we do. So we're not going to argue about it.
So
but I think
it definitely
bring it up
we
to the
can
community
all
understand.
agree it feels really bullet spongy most
At
of the
times,
time.
yes.
Most of the time. Okay.
You noobs just don't shoot in the head, mate. You
No,
only
that
shoot for the
doesn't matter.
head.
No,
Only
that
for the
doesn't
head.
matter sometimes. That does.
Yeah.
I've shown that on my stream, and it's when I press that F1 and everybody has a ping of 200. It doesn't matter, because the latency is so much of an issue right now that I can't tell if it's latency. I can't tell if it's armor. I can't tell if it's just me hitting them in the arm or something like that. Now, Twerk has made a good point to me prior that you can't get any fatal shots no matter how much you shoot them in the arms or the legs.
Sort of, because they can bleed out. But like
You
in
can
a,
bleed
in a
out, but
firefight
from
situation, you're not going
impacts,
to kill them
your
that quickly.
impacts, you're not going to kill them that quickly. And so
Yes.
that makes sense. When you hit them in the head, I think that right now, especially being as we only have light and medium armor, it takes far too long for some of those. And in the body, once again, I don't know if it's latency. I don't know if it's the implementation. I would like to know what they are planning or what their aim is right now, because then I can be like, oh, yeah, okay, that's just the latency
just
and
wait.
it's just garbage, and we'll just wait, instead of trying to give feedback to something that doesn't need feedback. And so it's kind of hard to get with that, because I love Star Marine. It is so awesome. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. Like, the level design is great. The visuals are fantastic. I'm excited to get these giant space stations in Star Citizen and be able to explore them and stuff like that. But right now, the FPS just feels... It just feels off because of that. And anybody who jumps in the game that has any sort of experience with any other FPS, whether it be something like Arma or Rainbow Six or Overwatch or Division or whatever, you can tell that there's something off, and it doesn't feel quite there.
Yeah.
And that's to be expected, but it's hard to give feedback when we don't know what exactly the issue is. I would like
have
CIG
you guys...
to come out and say, this is what medium armor should protect you from to a certain level. This is what light armor
It's
should...
really good against these
Right.
kind of explosions and this type of weapon.
Right,
That sort of thing. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
I would
totally
like
agree.
to see a more detailed thing of how many shots to the head should it take to kill someone with a medium helmet? How many shots to the chest should it take to kill somebody in medium or light armor or a flight suit or whatever? I would like to see what those bases are, and then we can start to give feedback based on that. And if those are the inputs that they have in there, and for whatever reason latency is making it so I'm going through 2 rounds, or the servers crashed or something like that, and it's just catching up or whatever, then that way I know, okay, this whatever. But if the latency is good and it takes 4 rounds to the chest and it still feels too short or too long, then I can start to give feedback on that instead of giving feedback on what the latency is or what the other stuff is.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, I just want to make sure that we make it really clear is the only place that you can kill somebody is in the chest and head. And I don't like what you mentioned that part, Saurus, but I think the reason that you're feeling like
other thing
I think the reason you're feeling that sometimes the bullet it feels very bullet spongy is that, like, if you watch yourself in a firefight where you've gotten hit quite a bit, you'll see that your legs turn red, your arms turn red,
right?
Your chest is red, and your head is red sometimes when you haven't died yet. It's because the weapons have a lot of bullet spray. So you're spraying, and especially with the ballistic rifle, so you're spraying, you're hitting arms, you're hitting legs. So you put fucking 20 rounds into the guy, but you didn't kill him because you didn't hit him in the key spots.
The big problem with that, though, is, and we know that they want to implement this, but this isn't is when you hit them in the arm, they can't hold up their weapon anymore. Yes. But right now, that's not the case. They can still hit, unless you're hitting them in the head, they can still aim fine. They can still do whatever. If you hit them in the head, they're all over the place, right?
And that's where Matt Sherman came in the chat and said, just lowering the time to kill is not the best solution. We have to go at it from multiple angles. That is the angle right there. Yeah. Is when I hit somebody in the arm, now they can only use their pistol.
Or even that. Maybe they can't even lift their arm.
Away anymore.
Or lots of bullet shake or something.
Yeah, or they can't aim. Or they can't run anymore and they hobble. But the thing is, those things aren't in right now. So I can only give feedback on the things that are in.
I'm going to rage just a tiny bit. Somebody said they don't agree with me. I don't see how you can't agree with fact. It's fucking fact. When you hit somebody in the arm, you can't kill them. When you hit somebody in the leg, you can't kill them. So it's fucking fact. There's bullet spray. Deal with it.
I believe that you can technically kill people in the arms and legs because they can bleed out from those shots.
Yeah, but in a 1v1 firefight, you're not killing them in that time because they still have time to heal themselves then.
Because their arms effectively become armor.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I said, the problem with that is those other mechanics aren't in to make it so they can't shoot you at all. They can't lift their weapon. They aren't stuck to just crawling around because their legs are shattered.
There are other stuff that's really important that need to get in. The stamina system. So the ability that we can't run constantly. If we do run a lot, then we need to have shake. We need to have armor and stuff. Mm-hmm. Our loadouts literally affecting the amount of stamina that we have. That sort of stuff. Because at the moment, no one's using the cover system because there's no point. Because you can just run and gun everywhere.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are things, and like for example, you can jump around like a stealth gazelle. So there's a little tiny bit of bunny hopping potential if you move forward and to left or right while you jump. And also, you're significantly more quiet while jumping. So you might as well just jump around like a gazelle. Because you're effectively silent. It was just, there are problems, but they, I think, are really easily solvable, a lot of them. And there are just a couple of mechanics that we need in there to solidify the upper
to balance it out. It's hard to give feedback on balance when the mechanics for the balance aren't in. Is basically exactly what I'm saying. And so it's kind of tough and it's kind of hard to give feedback on it. And we do the best that we can, but going with what we have right now, it just doesn't feel, it just feels off a little bit. That's all. Let's move forward into monthly report. Now, before I do that, I'm going to remind everybody we do have a Drake package that we're giving away. Thank you to Steve J 1397 exclamation point 2.6 in the channel to get into that raffle. And
I'm gonna put the link for the monthly giveaway.
Twerk's gonna put the link for the monthly giveaway in chat there as well. Also, if you have any questions, exclamation point question in chat, it's gonna provide you with a link in chat. Click on that, fill that form out. If you have a question for myself, Twerk, BoredGamer, all of us, one of us, whatever. We'll do the best of our ability to answer. Do remember, though, we are not devs. Although we usually have devs in the question or in chat to correct us if we are wrong on something.
And we always are.
A lot of the time.
A lot of the time.
Very quickly, let's go over the monthly report.
Yeah, we'll just breeze through it.
3.0 economy is being built out, which is awesome to hear. The price fixer is getting a lot more love. It's dynamically working out the price of items and ships based on the value and availability of the components and raw materials. The commodities list, which is what will be available to purchase cargo in 3.0 and how trade routes are going to work in Stanton and all of that other stuff are being worked on. Those raw materials and commodities, I think, are interchangeable. So that will be very cool. The new Cutlass Black is in the gray box phase, so I think we should be expecting that for 3.0 is what it sounds like. And
so
maybe before,
depending on how long 3.0 is out.
Exactly. I think we're gonna get a few ships before 3.0 comes out.
Yeah.
So the schedule report, I think wasn't it 3.1 that it said the Cutlass Blue and
the Cutlass Blue and Red were for 3.1. That's correct.
Yeah.
So I think they said at the same time or before. So I'm expecting it. For
I'm expecting it before at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm expecting it for 2.6.2.
Yeah. If it's like if it's in gray box already, going by the speed that they've been doing other ships and knowing how long he has already had the Cutlass on hand, I would have to say that it's almost ready now. Yeah. So whether that be 3.0 or even before that, I don't think it'll be after 3.0. For the Cutlass Black, I don't know about the variants.
Yeah.
There's been work on 3 planets. There are various environments, looks and feels, bios, and all of that other stuff. Hurston has an oppressive feel with like narrow alleyways and security checkpoints and machinery and very mechanical industrial feeling. Microtech is focusing on the single dome, I think they've said. Yeah, right? Yeah. They're going with a single dome instead of multiple and whatever for the time being. And Crusader is focusing on its vistas, the buildings juxtaposed with empty space and shadows, and this is your Cloud City, right? So
yeah, I can't wait.
Knowing the smoke effects that CIG already have in the game that they want to improve further.
Like imagining the mists and everything is going to be really cool.
I'm really excited.
I'm really excited to see weather in these things. I know that seems kind of weird, but the weather differences and whatever, like when it's gloomy and rainy or snowing.
Oh, you imagine that when you were in the dome and it's raining on top. Oh my god.
So Matt Sherman on the Cutlass just responded. There's plenty of work happening on the rework. Realistically, don't set any expectation to see it live prior to 3.0. Graybox is still before all the really high detailed work that goes into really giving a ship's character and style. Josh is definitely doing some great work, though. Thanks, Matt.
So just blame Josh if it's not ready.
Yes, and Matt. And Matt.
Yeah. And Matt, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, just always blame Matt.
They've continued working on artificial intelligence skills and stat system, which should allow each AI to have its own wants and needs and basing their behaviors off of those wants and needs in different situations, whether it be social or as a crewman or as a janitor or bartender or just like a layman that walks around. AI may be lacking or proficient in certain skill sets, so not all AI are going to act the same, and that's really important to make it feel like
they encourage you to use AI for ships that have a multi-talented kind of crew or like balanced skill sets, because you might get them that just panic in certain situations.
But even having AI really on like different schedules and stuff like that, even the ones that you don't necessarily interact with. Right, the ones that you don't hire specifically, knowing that they're going to have their own wants and needs, their own sort of routines and things like that, I think is really important to making it feel really diverse instead of a bunch of the different AI with just copy pasted skins on a different walking loop or whatever, like you would normally see in an MMO.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is one of the big things that's probably going to separate Star Citizen from most games, right?
This is big. Ground turrets are now 100% confirmed.
Yes. Yes.
We've been getting AI
Fucking all
working
those
with
people
them.
shooting at people when you're on landing pads, because that means
know.
that they'll be station based as well.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I can't see why they wouldn't add station-based turrets.
Yeah.
Finalize the Merc and Bounty Hunter careers for 3.0. So that's gonna be pretty cool, and yeah, getting that all ready. Working on a new range of more modular ship weapons for the Nightbird's arms manufacturer, and something that they mentioned was not only the weapons, but the barrels will be interchangeable. It
Yeah,
sounded like.
I saw that as well, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if that has to do with what type of ammunition it takes, or how that affects the weapon, if it's like longer range, or if it is like a silence type thing, or like what type of
Silenced
things.
modular weapon for a ship.
Yeah, like maybe one doesn't have as big as a flash, like as big a flash on it. Maybe it deals with energy weapons, or carries a different type of explosive ammunition, or a different type of
it's
ammunition.
possible that we'll have stealth weapons in the game. Like, I can imagine
Well,
that
not
they could have a stealthy weapon.
stealthy.
Stealthy.
I would call it stealthy. Like even silencer weapons, you can still hear, right? It's just not as pronounced. Or like
space,
muzzle.
Spacerus.
Right. Well,
Can't hear anything
you know what?
space.
Actually, before I'm gonna finish this because we're very close to finishing the 3.0. But that reminds me of something. Getting gadgets.
In a second.
Getting gadgets ready for release, and the new range of Castic Arms weapons ready too. And we even see the 2 different types of Castic Arms armors in Grimhex right now. The new ballistic stuff looks amazing. I'm a really big fan of it. And I'm still a really big fan of the original Outlaw outfits. And I
do. I like them too.
I'm excited to see this large variety of armors come in. I also want to say that the Orc armor that I think that everybody got for being a backer at a certain level, I think they changed it to the MKX. Looks very much like Halo. The green one with the little visor and stuff on it.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go into this, and I know that right now some of the sound effects and things like that, they've gotten better in the last 2 patches, actually, quite significantly, and I haven't had that much of an issue. But in Star Marine, you do it well. In the Persistent Universe, it doesn't act the same, and I don't know why that is. And that is when you're outside of an area with atmosphere, you don't have those muffled sounds. You don't have that whatever. It sounds the exact same.
Yeah. I wonder if it's because you have to go through one of those shields, and that's what triggers it, right?
I imagine it's just not set up because they could do it through when you go through one of the doors.
Yeah.
Right? So
because you get that sound effect when you go through the shield, and then it muffles. I wonder if that's like the trigger point for it.
Well, I think that it might be to do with some stuff being on landing pads and having their physics grids there. But...
Yeah.
It shouldn't necessarily be as much with the physics grids as with the different containers. Like they showed the room system and stuff like that.
When that's in, it'll probably work.
I do have one qualm with the EVA sounds and stuff like that when you're in space. Is I really like the heartbeat. They got that on point. I really like the sound of the weapons. They got that on point. When it's your character. When it's another person firing, you shouldn't be able to hear them. And I think that's what they need to do. They need to get rid of that the other players' sounds. Also, like running around and hearing footprints outside. Maybe for your own character, but not other people. And same with the EVA thrusters and stuff like that. But everything that they have for your own character, all that muffled sound, the increased heart rate sound, the really muffled shooting sounds is amazing, and I'm a really big fan of that. And that's what I've been wanting for a long time. I don't know if you guys agree with me, disagree with me. And if you disagree with me, I want to know why, because I have a specific reason of.
I don't really disagree. I like it.
I mean, I just don't know enough.
Because you shouldn't be hearing the other player's sounds, because that's your
Right.
sounds vibrating through your suit, right?
Right. Well,
Your
it's
body.
your basically the reality of it is the sound is vibrating through your bones, which is then vibrating your
Yeah.
inner ear, which is a bone, and that's how
Yeah.
you can hear it. And that's why it sounds so muffled. You get rid of all the fidelity of that sound and just have those low rumblings because your body's vibrating to that. And so that's why I don't think you should hear the other players only when you're in EVA outside of pressurized zones. When you're inside,
I'm happy
it's all
for them
good.
to test that out, but I just want it so that it's fun to play.
I still think it'll be
that's
fun
the
to
main
play.
thing. It has to be fun to play. And I understand that some stuff should be silenced and some stuff in space should be silent, but that would mean that when some things would just be not as fun.
Okay, so there's
weird.
games that I've played that do that mechanic perfectly. And they do that already. Shattered Horizon is one of those things where it has the ability.
Horizon was good.
Shattered Horizon has something that's really cool that I would like to see CIG maybe look at, where they have like they can power on and off their suit, where it does the same sort of simulated sound thing that the spaceships have when it's powered on. It turns on your radar and turns on all kinds of stuff. But if you want to go stealth and you don't want to be shown on radar and you don't want to be all of that stuff, you can turn that off. And then that's when you only hear the blurred sounds. And there's some really good stuff for that. And maybe one of these over the next couple days, if I can get some of the CIG people or whatever, or maybe I'll make a clip of it and send it to them and show them how that works with those systems in that game.
Yeah.
Because I think that works really, really well and makes it for a really nice balance of having the sound or not having the sound. So it gives you a benefit to hear the other players, right? And to have the radar and to have all this other stuff. But if you're willing to go systems off and shut it off with the exception of oxygen, then it's just really cool. And it would turn off like your thrusters and everything, right? So it would be like decoupled, moving around. There's some really cool stuff they could do, and it's still fun.
For Star Citizen, I'd have to try that out to have an opinion on that specific thing, because I just don't know. I just don't know enough about it.
Like I said, if you haven't tried it out, Shattered Horizon.
It's old as hell too.
It's
a good
DX9. But if I have an extra copy board, or if I can get a copy for you, I'll get it for you and we'll play it together. Because it is something that does it really, really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I see an Indiegogo link. Is this supposed to be in here?
No, probably not.
No, that Indiegogo link's for BritisonCon, probably.
Ah, okay.
Because it's like 10 days left on their fundraising campaign for BritisonCon. So I thought I'd put it in.
It says BritisonCon 2017.
Gotcha. So if you want to post that link in chat,
I will.
Yeah.
So
and
guys,
talk about it, because I don't know
on
what that's all about.
On the 22nd of April, up in Manchester, we are having BritisonCon, which is a big Star Citizen fan event. Brian Chambers and some devs and people are coming down. I'll be going down. Lots of content creators going down. Lots of fans going down. And it should be a good laugh. And they're running a fundraising campaign to help alleviate some of the funds that they'll be putting in themselves. Only subscribers can post links. Anna told me to go F myself.
I'll put it in.
Thanks, mate. So please check that out. Consider coming. Consider donating. The Indiegogo thing is you can buy tickets from it as well, sort of thing. So all that sort of stuff. Just take a look, spread it around, talk about it to people. It'd be cool to see you. It's me saying hello to you. You'll know it's me for the way I am.
And before we go into questions, once again, exclamation point 2.6 to get into the current giveaway. If you have any questions, exclamation point question in chat. Twerk is going to post the monthly link in for the monthly giveaway. Also, remember that we are this podcast is sponsored by Antlion Audio. They have released just their new Mod Mic 5s. We haven't had an opportunity to check them out yet. I got to message him to get him to send us those out. And we're using their the older version, the 4.0, which is still available for purchase. And we are using the unidirectional.
Yeah, unidirectional.
Unidimensional. I will be 1 second.
Yeah.
You continue. I'll be like.
Yeah. It's all good. It's all good. So make sure to check them out. AntlionAudio.com. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think, before we jump into questions.
Yeah, I think we can hop in there, and we'll start with you and me on the first one.
Yeah. So, first one's from Steve J 1397. And he says, do you think Star Marine or Arena Commander should have a boarding mode that would allow people to practice boarding a ship or repel aboard, or like, you know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that was in the plans from the very, very early on
When do you
Kickstarter
think
type,
we would...
not Kickstarter, but early on, yeah. So they called it Capture the Idris, and
Yeah.
I don't think that's entirely out of the question.
I
At
think
some
they
point.
still want to
It's
do a
just-
combined arms arcade mode game.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I agree. And
There's
and
a lot of
it's
things
just
they
a
could
matter
do
of
with that
time.
as well.
What's that?
There's a lot of different things they could do with that. They could do it with, like,
Oh yeah,
they could have all the players start in ships and have a space station that you can land, like, get out and land in and run around in and whatever.
yeah.
And
or
and
a
have, like,
stationary Idris or whatever.
or
Yeah.
a stationary Idris or other stationary ships like
Yeah.
Caterpillar or Starfarers and things like that as well. So definitely, I know that's something that I'm looking forward to. I don't know about you, Twerk, but combined arms is really fun, and being able to do that in an arena and have the same, like, one of the greatest things about Star Marine right now is that when you die, when you respawn and you're back in the action, like, you can just keep going over and over again, and that's so much. It gets rid of that travel time. And
Correa is dead. If you go to
sometimes
Correa, I never see anybody
in
there.
elimination you can be spawning and literally then you get shot and die right away, which can suck sometimes, but you're always in the action right away.
Yeah, for sure.
Cataphor asks, do you think there will be personal data pads to read for other people if when you die? For example, if I write a lot of stuff in, like, a notepad or whatever on my character in my Mobiglass, can other people pick it up? Or should other people be able to pick it up and read my journal then? Also, do you think we would be able to drop data pads with false information to bait people to certain locations?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to have some sort of an inventory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's just going to be based on little slots on our armor, because we're going to have to be able to have some sort of an inventory or like a backpack of some, like, we have to have some sort, like, carry ability of things when walking around. And why wouldn't a data pad be an item that we can carry? Now, if you write things in your journal in your Mobiglass, I don't think that will necessarily be something that people can get. But if you write something on a notepad or like a data pad, why not?
Yeah, I agree.
You know?
I think I like the idea of putting down false data pads and stuff like that to try and, like, make it look like somebody else, or to genuinely try to be helpful.
Yeah.
So heads up, there's always somebody camping over here or whatever, or use it as org advertising and stuff like that.
Or, hey guys, I got a Caterpillar with tons of loot on it.
All the loot.
All the loot. There's a bunch of loot.
Dirty, wet loot.
So cringe.
IDD asks, so Star Marine on its initial release managed to be slightly more tactical than Dead Rising. Wasn't removing radar, or at least reducing it to show friendlies only, removing or minimizing ammo restock and sticking to one live only, or no-brainer during the avocado phase? And I guess that's a question for you or Bored, because I wasn't in avocado.
Well, I still can't say what we did in avocado, so I can't really share that, but I think we kind of discussed how we felt about the radar and everything, and how it would be more tactical, right?
Yeah, I think we proposed some solutions that
are solid.
99% of people can get on board with and make sense and would still make it fun and would still implement those things that they want to implement.
Yeah.
Scuff J says, has anyone at CIG talked about wear and tear on your clothes and armor? Like, will you have to repair or replace your scuffed shoes, broken helmet, broken armor, things like that?
Well, we always said there was going to be wear and tear on chips, and I think clothing was going to have a similar effect, right?
Yeah, they said no, I don't think it's in yet, but they've talked about having the same sort of damage model things that they do with ships, what they do with armor. So where you'd be able to repair it and patch it up, and it looks repaired and patched up, or you can buy new armor. So yeah, I think they've talked about it. It's just not something that's in yet.
Yeah.
Remember, this is still that first implementation of Star Marine and of that FPS arena stuff. So there's a lot of stuff like we talked about earlier. The limb damage. While it's showing limb damage, it doesn't affect it at all. And
other than the bleeding out, but
I think that's going to change a lot of that gameplay style, and it's going to make people play a lot more tactical as well.
Yeah.
Kelhop says, "Do you think the 2.x series of patches are over, or do you think there will be a 2.7 etc. to prevent constant drought between now and 3.0 and reintroduce a lot of the functionality that was promised in 2.6?"
I think we'll see a lot of iterations on what we have now, and I don't know if we'll get additional gameplay, but we need to.
I don't think we're going to get another patch until 3.0. And outside of these
patch.
No major patches. No new. I don't think we're going to get any new ship patches. I
think we're getting ship patches. I definitely think we're going to get ship patches because I think it's that far away. And the ship pipeline is super solid that I think ships are going to get done before the fucking network rewrite's going to get done.
And while I agree with you 100% on that, I agree that those things are going to come in a lot quicker. The reason that we don't see a lot of patches and the reason we see these huge constant droughts without patches aren't because they don't have these things ready. I think a lot of this stuff may have been ready. Those new missions may have been ready to go in prior. The problem is we do not have the new downloader for them to put out the patches reasonably. So what that means is it costs a lot of money for them to put out a patch. And so instead of putting out these smaller patches throughout, it makes sense to just do one larger patch. And so that's why it's hard to say. And that's why they do the PTU and Evocati and stuff like that as well with these smaller groups, because they're pushing out a lot of patches in a short amount of time, but because it's only to a small set of people, and even all of those people don't download them all. Like Twerk was saying, he didn't download the last one. So I don't think we're going to see any major... If there's a fix that needs to happen, I imagine we're still going to get some more PTU patches. We may get one or two 2.6 point whatever patches after it's gone live, but you're not going to see 2.7. 2.7 does not exist. 3.0 will be the next one for that. Our next question is from Stevie Madman. After Thomas Hennessy left after CitizenCon, do you think they replaced him? Also, how many in the community team left now, and are Tyler and Disco left to do everything themselves?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's a something that you have to ask them.
Yeah,
we don't work there. Yeah,
or more people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have to imagine that somebody is running the camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Thomas did. So I'm sure they replaced him. But how many people, what they did, who knows? Yeah.
No idea, unless they come out and say.
It's not something I go.
Well, and it's not even something I go digging around, because at the end of the day, as awesome as these people are, it's kind of irrelevant to the development of the game.
Yeah.
Which is what we focus on. Shigu says, "Awesome show, guys. Do you look forward to making snow angels on Microtech in 3.0?
No, it's throwing snowballs at each other. If we can't throw snowballs at each other,
both those things need to be emotes.
Yeah.
Both those things
pick up snowball, throw, and
the snow angel lay down and just do this.
Yeah.
I want to see bugs as well with throwing snowballs where the security think it's a gun. And they just gun you down.
Who has the most push for I think it's Jeremiah in chat. Jeremiah, make sure whoever's in charge of putting the emotes in.
No, it's probably like Proxys or anybody from the Austin office, because they do the
maybe
mocap stuff.
Any of you that have any sort of pull on that, throwing snowballs, like being able to pick it up, roll it up, and throw it, building a snowman, and snow angels are the three things that we need.
Yeah.
Then he goes
vaping on the gas giant.
Yeah. And then he goes on to say, which biome is your favorite, and how does your ideal planet look?
What was it? What is my favorite?
What is your ideal planet look? Which biome is your favorite? Mine would be one that isn't been shown yet, and that's like a heavy, dense jungle, mountainous
Yeah.
region.
I was gonna say the same, like rainforest.
I'm curious to see what they do and if they can do something, and I'm sure they can because Far Cry did it, and Far Cry's like this based off the same engine.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really excited to see their jungles and tropical areas or alien biome. Like we're seeing a lot of like Earth looking biomes, right? Like things that we've actually experienced, but we haven't really seen anything like. Is there like going to be a bioluminescent biome? Is there going to be like something that's
Probably.
like a very crystallized? And I want some of these biomes to feel very alien on some of these
Yeah.
planets. Instead
Agreed.
of homogeneous with Earth and whatever. We know what those look like. It's cool that they're going to be able to make those. I want to see what they do on the creative side of like what alien stuff is. Where like do the Vanduul live on like, and this is what I picture them in my head just after seeing them, is like, do they live on this rocky volcanic planet of like whatever, and they've evolved to like be able to be camouflaged on their planet, right? So it's all like rocky and it has like their bioluminescent that matches with the lava and stuff like that. I want to see like different cool stuff.
Do
Yeah.
you think it's odd that we haven't seen much from our own solar system and star system?
What do you mean? Like the
Like Mars and
Earth and Mars.
Earth?
Yeah, a little bit. It
Yeah.
does seem a little weird.
You would think
Is
that
the-
Earth would be one of the first planets, actually.
Yeah.
Well, so a lot of the planets, or all of the planets other than Earth, have one or two biomes effectively making them up, or very
Yeah.
few biomes at least. So it was just weird. Maybe there's some plot in Squadron 42 we don't know about. Maybe we don't have a solar system anymore, for all we
Yeah.
know. Like, but it was weird. I always thought it was
I
like,
mean, it's in the star map, but yeah.
Like, I guess technically you could say that, okay, let's take Mars, for example, right? Because something like Jupiter is a gas planet and like Crusader. But if you take Mars, you could say, okay, yeah, it's one or two biomes, right? You have your one biome and then your ice caps on both ends. But you could break that main biome down into several different ones. You could break it down into bluffs. You could break it down into deserts, mountain ranges, dry like creek beds and things like that. So those may be like different biomes within themselves, kind of thing. While they're the same sort of material, a desert is a lot different than a mountain range or something similar
Yeah.
to like Ayr Rock, I think it's called in Australia, right? With that weird rock. If they have those weird like plateau kind of things, and shale is different than desert. So I don't know if they consider that the same biome or if they would consider those different biomes. Because they're the physical characteristics, while they would be the same color and essentially be made out of the same material, they have different characteristics, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of agree with Bored though. It's just weird that we haven't seen it.
Yeah, a
That's-
little
that
bit.
stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
it's a little
will.
weird.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
random speculation. Please, on chat and in the comments below. Please, just go crazy.
Yeah.
Winlord00 says, so I've seen a few streams from all of you, and it seems fair to say that the FPS is much more fun as team play than single player deathmatch.
Mhm.
I agree. I'm gonna add a little caveat to that. It seems very run and gun though. How would you introduce more slower pace and tactical play into single player Submarine? I think
We've already talked about-
we
yeah.
talked about that and we got that. This question was already in there. The one thing I'm gonna say is yes. The group play
But
is really
playing with
fun.
Group
I-
play. Yeah.
It is. I would say it's definitely more fun. And a lot of people may have noticed I haven't been doing that a lot, and that's because I'm getting frustrated right now, and I don't want to take that out on other people, and I know for a fact I may that's just how I am. So I'm just waiting until I get used to it, and then we're gonna be doing a lot of multi stuff, and even yesterday and stuff like that. I'm getting more and more into it.
I just love the especially on Damien, the starting to figure out strategies and playing with your friends.
Yes.
That's what I love.
I just like messing around because
It's not that serious to me either. I don't give a shit about Star Marine like being the best or anything.
It shouldn't be, but that's just my personality. I'm just really competitive.
There's a bit of a joy at the moment where there's no proper matchmaking for skill levels, where that genuine people with a lot more hours, even if they're less skillful, would be better at the game at that time, sort of thing.
Right.
Because a lot of us have a huge amount of hours in the game, we can just kind of mess around and chat to each other while we play, and it's still fun, and we don't feel like we're ruining the game for other people by messing around. So I quite like that. I like being able to talk to Twerk and us genuinely try hard to win, but we're messing around at the same time. We're teabagging people as well. We're doing silly stuff. We're having a bit of banter and stuff. And these multiplayer games, of course, they're much more fun when you're on comms with friends. They're multiplayer. Multiplayer games should be played on comms. And when we have in-game comms, that's going to be fucking great for accessibility.
Yeah.
And you're going to have some problems where people like insult your mother and stuff, as people do on the internet. But I've got a feeling that the general player base in Star Marine is a lot older and more mature as a rule.
Right.
In general.
For now.
Than say Call of Duty. For now. Anyway, yeah.
That's going to change as when the game starts to become more and more playable and is more and more polished, especially with these Star Marine and Arena Commander. You're going to start to see more and more of the younger players come in, I think. Less of those barriers of entry are going to be there for people. Bold Rover says, BoredGamer mentioned the Star Marine maps would be put up on the Redacted site. I also mentioned this. In the same style that was done for Korea. Is the plan for that still? And if so, when will the maps be published into the Redacted site? So
I mean, I can draw an MS Paint one for you, but I'm not very artsy.
I made the Korea maps.
Yeah.
And the Korea maps were easy to make because it was, compared to what we have now, was like basic color, like basic shapes. The new maps now, while the design is really good, I don't know how well, especially Echo 11, is going to translate, because there's a lot of levels that aren't full levels. They're like half levels and things like that. So it's going to be very difficult to sort of map some of these out. And I think a basics of the we'll try and get something that is at least a color basic of the map, so sort of like an outline of the map.
I
don't know how easy that's going to be, though. Is what
we really need to do is there's people that do cutouts of caterpillars and do fucking fantastic. And if anybody out there knows how to do that and would love to be involved with us and stuff like that, we would love to work with you.
Yeah,
that would be.
Can anyone draw in chat?
Well, no. These
aren't drawings.
These aren't drawings. This is
things.
This is the other thing too, right? This is going to take a lot more skill and a lot more time than the Korea ones did. I threw the Korea map together in 10 minutes. It's very straightforward. There's 3 levels. You know, it's not too crazy to throw that together. With this, it's going to be.
We'll definitely get something that can be built up upon. So at the very least, in the short term, we'll get a basic description of the levels, screenshots explaining where the points are, why you'd want to go to certain points, the spawn points, that sort of stuff. We can get something that we can build upon, and then as we get better and better maps.
Like I can see specific strategy guides for like the hacking mode, because those hacking points are very and different points of attack of those and how to defend them. But as for a whole drawn out map, man, that's bored. I don't know, man. It's got a lot of work. That's going to be a lot of work for those 2 maps that we have. Echo 11 even more so.
I'm thinking we can just get a very basic like top down view of the map.
I don't know how you're going to do that. How many levels are in Echo 11?
Several.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be difficult.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah. I mean, if we can saying this because I'm not going to be doing it.
Right.
I mean,
so
it's going to take me literally.
If it's something we can do and is effective, then definitely we will do that. But
we won't put anything up on our site unless it's quality.
It's useful.
We're not going to put up MS Paint shit and have it look like shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh my god, I'm gonna try it now.
In
In before
Placeholder.
draw an MS Paint picture of all of us. It's a contest on whatever. We'll post them all to a blog post on the Redacted site, and we'll give the winner a $25 gift card.
Yeah.
Legit though, I just started that. I'll give you guys a $25 gift card. So I want to see you guys give us an MS Paint version of what the Redacted podcast looks like right now.
Slow it down. I'll make a forum post now
Okay.
on the website.
An MS Paint picture of our podcast right here, like this, with the three of us. We'll post all the entries onto a blog post, and we'll give 3 prizes: a $25 gift card, a $10 gift card, and a hanger flare.
Why do I feel that I'm not going to feel very flattered by the
Oh
words of an
no,
None of us are
that's
gonna,
the point.
None
That's
of
the
us are
point.
gonna.
That's the point. So think of sort of what CIG does with their concept things. Do that as us. Make us as star citizens, or make us how we normally are, or whatever. Feel free to be creative with it. Our next question, while Twerk's writing that up, is from Winlord00. You mentioned the difficulty in putting larger ships in the persistent universe due to network issues. Do you think they could limit LOD and graphical quality based on connection speed, i.e., under 10 megs, over 30 medium, 50 good, 10 full quality, same such?
Why would that be?
Let me finish it. Rather than at least as well based on the local capabilities of your PC. That would not affect anything, period. It's how it renders it on their systems, not on your systems. So that's completely irrelevant. Your system can only run what your system can run. And if you're happy running at 30 frames a second, then you'll be able to do 30 frames a second. Their systems need to be able to facilitate everybody running at a high frame rate. It's not based on your system at all for how that would work. So limiting those inputs would just piss off a lot of people. Imagine, like, you go in and you're not allowed, like, say you value fidelity over frame rate, and you're happy playing at 30 frames a second, and you're not allowed to put it on 1440, but you have a 1440p monitor, that would drive some people insane, and that is not.
I'm angry just thinking about it, Saurus.
Yeah, so not good, and doing that doesn't change the connection speed and the graphical quality. Don't go hand in hand. The network needs to render it on the server side of things, needs to render all those, and by that I mean calculate all the damage and all of that other stuff, and then send that out to the client back and forth. So that's why, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it doesn't work in the way that you've explained.
I know the intention of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So just to be clear, $25 gift card for first, 10 for second, 5 for third.
Yeah.
Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hanger flare for third.
Hanger flare for third.
Okay, let me edit it.
Yeah, their choice.
And then I'll post it.
Okay. Sunday of Doom says, speaking of female body armor, do you think veteran Vandal warriors that are female wear less armor like their male counterparts? It would make sense from a lore point.
I'm not sure how the society entirely works.
My whole thing would be, I don't imagine it would be based on sex at all. Like, why would it? If it's a veteran Vandal warrior, why would it matter if it was female or male? Maybe they would just wear less or wear no armor. Or the opposite may be true. Maybe the veterans wear more armor because they're smart and they're not like it's not their first time into combat, and they're not all like gung ho about I can take on the world. So I don't think bringing sex in it has any relevance, to be honest.
It is currently unknown where female and younger Vandal are living. And
Yeah.
because the males, when they reach adulthood, are in the clan, and they fight and stuff. So we haven't really seen any female or younger Vandal at the moment.
Yeah.
We don't even know if they wear armor. We don't know what kind of society they have in that sense.
Our next question comes from Zorky. I saw the stretch goal that I had not paid attention to before, and he links the stretch goal that says exclusive star system for pre-launch backers. Only players who support the game before its launch will receive computer coordinates needed to allow their jump drives to access the system. Okay. What star system is this, and is this still a thing?
I'm sure it's still a thing, and I don't think we're supposed to know which one.
And I don't think you're gonna know. Like, there's supposed to be 100 star systems. There's so many. Yeah, there's so many. We have no idea.
110,
yeah.
Is the system in question Crusader? No. I'm guessing we'll be able to bring other non-backer people there with us, but essentially it would only be us who gets access to the coordinates at first, through our personal navigation maps or something alike.
Yeah.
This would be funny if we had the Big Bunny cult station there and we as backers can sacrifice the non-backer players to a Benny deity. What are your thoughts on this system?
Not funny.
What are your thoughts
to break it to you
on this system and what it can offer players, in particular players in terms of exclusivity, and should this exclusivity be pre-beta backers rather than pre-launch? No, so this is going to be something that everybody will have the coordinates to it. Everybody's going to know where it is.
Yeah.
Within the first week. That's all. It's just, oh, we'll get to see it. We'll have a direct route right away. People will still be able to find it or be able to explore or find jump points themselves if they look for it.
Yeah,
the same goes for everything.
Like the Million Mile High Club.
And even the Million Mile High Club will be something you'll be able to earn in game, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be a true any exclusive things, with the exception of some of the trophies, which are for specific years. That's it, right?
I think you still probably buy them off the players.
Like the Citizen Con, yeah, you still may be able to buy them off players, but the Citizen Con trophy and stuff like that, there may not be a reason to earn those in game. Gabriel Winters says, "Hi guys, thanks for your work. What do you think of in-game time versus real-world time? This might affect day and night cycles, character aging, and lore progression. Years ago, I heard of a factor of around 10 between real world and game. Any news or thoughts on this topic?" So the time, I want to be clear, the time doesn't stop when you log off.
Yeah.
Or log on. It's
server side or whatever.
Yeah,
probably.
it keeps going. Like the planets are going to be rotating. Yeah. The days are going to be based on the planet rotation and orbit around their star. So some planets may have a day-night cycle of an hour. That's a fast-moving planet. Or some may have one of, never. They may be tidally locked. Or they may have ones that are like 48 hours, So for 2 days it's daytime, for 2 days it's nighttime in real life. So it's hard. The whole concept of time is kind of a weird thing to talk about when you're talking on a galactic scale, right? Because we only really know time as an Earth scale thing. You know what I mean? Like time is based on our rotation of our planet. So it's a tricky topic to talk about.
We're not going to really know until they implement it properly, until there's a reason to have in-game time. And then it will be tweaked so many millions of times.
It's going to change so much.
Yeah, because it's important, but it's not in there yet. So it just needs to be, we'll have to wait until we actually have mechanics before we have time.
If you're referring to in terms of insurance and stuff like that, that's based on your time played, I believe, right? That's what they said?
Yes, I think it's in-game time played.
Yeah, and of your real time. So 2 months is 2 months of your time played in real time, like real Earth time, normal human time out of
human, your real Earth time.
Out of game, yes. But in terms of like time systems in the game, things can get tricky, man. It gets really weird because, you would imagine... You can't really have clocks and stuff in game, or unless they have some sort of standard, like a Terra standard or an Earth standard or something like that. And then
I think there'll be something like that.
Still can be really confusing.
Like everybody will mention a day. Like in most sci-fi worlds, Like, I don't know. I've been watching.
It'll
Star
take
Trek
3
Deep
days
Space
to get
Nine.
us somewhere.
They say days. Everybody says days, but what is a day? I'm sure they standardized it.
Yeah. Sidras asks, will we be able, and should we be able, to hire different grade of NPCs for multi-cruise ships? So of average, above average, elite.
Yeah, of course.
100%. This is something they've talked about, and an elite player, an elite turret operator may not be a very good pilot, or maybe they will be, or there's going to be all kinds of different characteristics of these things, but there definitely will be different levels. It's not like there's a one blanket level for all NPCs.
Yeah.
And that's what we were talking about earlier with their own wants and needs and skill sets and all of that other fun stuff. Zorky asks, what would you think about having weapon-specific spray patterns, like Counter-Strike has? Is this even possible considering Star Citizen has real simulated projectiles? No, because we have real simulated projectile stuff.
Yeah, fuck that noise.
Yep. I think we're both Bored. You're on the same page?
I mean,
it shouldn't be the exact same spray every time,
No.
so some nerd can, sit there and shoot at a wall for fucking 10 years and figure it out.
I mean, they should be predictable in the sense that real world weapons are predictable, but they
Right.
They
so
you
your
don't wanna have
recoil is
perfect-
similar, but it's
Yeah.
still, okay.
You don't want to have a perfect pattern like
It's-
I hold down full auto and it always does this fire pattern.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
It should be randomized to an extent, but within the same cluster area.
Yeah, so what they have said is that bullets will be coming from the barrel of your gun. So they don't need to randomize anything. It's literally going to be based on your gun's recoil.
Right.
And all
So
that sort of stuff anyway.
a really good example of
Simulated.
this would be buckshot in a shotgun, right?
Yes.
When they're packed, they're not always going to be the exact identical locations of all the buckshot on how that's all in there. So the spray from those are going to be different. And that's sort of how it should be in the game as well. So while the cluster should be in roughly the same area, it shouldn't be exact coordinates of where it hits every single time.
Predictable with skill, but not 100%
By memorization.
Because pattern.
Yeah,
Yes.
it shouldn't be a pattern,
It
exactly.
shouldn't be a direct pattern.
Dimaskull says, while you may feel the TTK is too short for a submarine. What?
Too long, we said.
It's too long. Do you feel it's long enough or should be longer on the PU? So you have a chance to react and not lose your stuff. I think everything should be done with a purpose and should be done
With mortality in mind.
With mortality in mind, exactly. So are you going to just go running in, not paying attention to your surroundings into a derelict space station? You probably shouldn't do that. You should probably be playing as hyper aware.
Yeah.
I think I stand by what I said, where if you're not wearing armor, it should be a 1 or 2 hit kill, and that's it. And if you're going into those situations, and you know what, sometimes it's just gonna suck. It's gonna be the wrong place, the wrong time, and that's just how it is. And this isn't a game that's based around every character as a hero, right? Like, that's my whole thing from it. Every character is a citizen. Not every character is a hero, right? So you're not going around, and it's not pertinent to the game where you need to be able to survive through the entire storyline. That's actually quite the opposite of what this game is going to be. So those time to kills, I think, should be short, should be realistic. And that's why I personally think where if you're not wearing armor, it's 1 or 2 shots to the chest or head, and that's it. You would die in real life. You should die then without armor. With light armor, maybe add 1 or 2 more shots on top of that. Medium, 1 or 2 shots on top of the light armor. Heavy, 1 or 2 shots on top of that. Or some very strategically placed rounds. But it should be that would make people act more tactically throughout the entire game, knowing that your mortality is on the line at any given time. It would make it so people aren't just rushing and running around everywhere and doing all of that stuff. So that's where I stand on it. I'm not speaking for anybody else on the panel for that, but I agree that the low TTK is important to the game overall. You guys
I mean, I
input?
disagree. But I mean, I already shared my opinions on it, so I'm not going to say it again. But yeah, I just think it's fine. I like the fact that you can get shot a few times, hide behind a corner, heal yourself, and fire again.
I agree with that.
I think that's the intention.
Have you ever sat down next to a Mountie before?
I agree with that with armor.
I mean, we're talking about
when we
I'm
have
ta-
all the
we're-
armor
we're-
sets,
we're-
no. We're not talking about submarine. We're talking about the persistent universe.
yeah. I mean, have you hit somebody in a flight suit yet?
Yeah, and they die almost immediately. But he's saying, should it stay like that, or should it be? He's basically saying he wants a longer TTK because so it doesn't feel like you die as easily because you do have the death of a spaceman.
I think one of the things that's going to happen a lot is that you'll be very badly wounded, and you'll require teammates to help you when you're in like the persistent universe. So solo adventuring is going to be without any NPCs, without anything. It's going to be very dangerous because you could just fall off a ladder. Okay.
I also think people are looking at Death of a Spaceman as when I die, and I think they're really looking at it too literal. Where
too literal with that part.
You're going to die, but wake up in a hospital and be revived
6 or 7 times at least. Sort of
more
thing.
often than you fucking think you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's not as serious as everybody thinks it's going to be, because that's why everyone's stressing out about it, is because they're like, fuck, I'm going to lose my character so quickly. Do you really think that that's fun gameplay? That's fucking awful gameplay. So do you really think CIG is going to be like, that's a great idea. As soon as you get hit and you die the first time, you lose all your shit.
Yeah,
and
no.
you lose all your reputation.
That's why they
stuff.
created Death of a Spaceman.
It's gonna be more. You're gonna take some visits to the hospital
But
and wake up in a hospital bed more often than you think you are.
if you're in sketchy areas, you're gonna have to play like you're in a sketchy area. You aren't just gonna be able to run around and explore because you feel like exploring. You're gonna have to be looking for people hiding. You're gonna have to, surround and check, see if there's snipers before you get out of your ship. Things like that. If you think that possibility is there. And there should be consequences to not doing those things or not paying attention.
Yep.
Insta Shinobi asks, now that Star Marine is coming in 2.6, how long do you think it will be until we see team icons or party radar with targeting and focus UI in the persistent universe Star Marine AC? And that was sort of what I was talking about with that, like targeting ammunition or laser designation and things like that.
Yeah.
But also seeing your
really
your party members with green marks above them in Star Marine and stuff.
Well, we see that in Star Marine now.
Yeah.
Do you actually see do you see party members?
Yeah, the blue triangles.
No, different from just random pubs.
Well, no, because everybody's in a party in Star Marine.
I want to see my teammates that are actually on comms with me separate to the other randoms.
Right. Okay. So it doesn't really work in Star Marine because everybody's on the same team. But in the persistent universe, yes, I would like to see it the exact same way when people are in your party as you see them in Star Marine. So if you have people in your party, they have that blue triangle above their head. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Magnificent says, what is the next type of Drake concept ship you would like to see CIG make?
A racer?
Ship?
I would like to see a salvage or some sort of industry ship.
Yeah, I guess racer doesn't make sense for Drake, right? So I think I agree with you with the salvagey.
I mean,
salvage.
I feel like the Dragonfly may be able to do that role.
Racing,
as like we may see more of the motorcycle stuff, which they've sort of hinted about, and so we may see like a motorcycle class, and that's where the Dragonfly would fit in.
Yep.
For racing. But I would like to see some sort of industry ships, whether it be like we have a hauling thing, but we don't have anything for mining or exploration or reclaiming or anything like that.
I mean, I like the idea of an industry ship. In fact, I love industry ships. I really want to see one day that capital ship from Drake.
I also would like to see that.
God.
Yeah,
But
you guys always...
I think that an industry ship though would be more
Suitable for them.
pertinent and more suitable first than a capital ship.
Yep, you're right.
Whiskey Wing says, understandably, ships come quicker than other content with their new ship pipeline in full swing. But with 140 million raised, do you think they are striking the correct balance between finishing paid-for ships and throwing out new concepts? I'd love to see Squadron 42 success and help fund a portion of the remainder of the PTU dev, or hell, for them to take out a loan to finish the game. Do you think that 100% funding should remain squarely on the backers? So
on the last thing, no. I think they can continue to make deals with things like AMD that don't affect the release of the game, but also bring in
or the
funds
direction of
the game. Yeah, or the direction of the game at all.
But
I don't think going to a studio and getting funding from there would be at all what any of us want. Yes, we want the game to release sooner, but do we want it to release sooner because EA said so? Because whoever said so? Fuck no. Fuck that shit. But and to go with the other part is concept ships come out before ships are done, because concept ships take somebody to draw them and 3D model them, where the building of a ship takes, like, I mean, we have Matt Sherman here on a regular basis. Not only does it take the art and the high level art that they do, but it takes the placement of thrusters, the what weapons are going to be on there, the animations to all the assets, the sitting a person in the ship, do they fit, the metrics, all that shit. Some dude literally draws a picture, and I know I'm making that sound super simple and easy, but drawing a picture is a lot simpler than implementing a ship in the game, which is why you see concept ships coming quicker. Well,
this is what Twerk's getting to as well. They have specific people that are working on the ships that don't work on characters, that don't work on environments, that don't do any of the coding or anything like that. So because that department's fast, why should they not continue to be fast? Whereas in the character department, maybe it's even faster or slower or whatever, because they have more animations to do, or they do all the animations, and the environment stuff is a separate speed, and the coding and whatever is different. It's because these are all different departments that do different things, even if some of them share. Like the art department consists of the ships, the characters, and the environments, and the UI.
Do you guys have any other input on the last question? I think that was actually the best part of the question. I think we've answered the other one a few times over the last couple of years, but
I agree with you 100%. I think that I like, and they've talked about it before, and we've even seen it in other games. I remember when they first showed it in a Need for Speed Underground game or something, where they had billboards of real advertising in the game.
NHL has on the boards in the game. They have advertising.
I'm good with that. I think that's actually cool. I think that's kind of immersive, and it's a good way of getting real adverts in game and for them to make money.
And it adds to the immersion of everything as well, as long as it's realistic. Realistic isn't a good word. The word, and I learned this from DayZ, as long as it feels authentic. Authentic is the key word here. So Coca-Cola,
like Pepsi, but it's not really Pepsi. Right, or whatever.
No, that's not what I'm getting at. No.
Okay.
So Coca-Cola could still exist as Coca-Cola.
Yep. But
in the future, right? AMD, Intel, Nvidia, whatever, could still make the CPUs for the ships and stuff like that in the future.
AMD have got their own org or own law in Star Citizen as well.
Right.
Now.
They have
AMD
their
as we
own,
know them now.
Right, they're something different. So being able to modify those things slightly from what it is, I don't want to see. Okay, so while Coke could advertise Coca-Cola straight up, right? I wouldn't want to see Nvidia advertising a 1080 Ti specifically.
No,
I'd want to see Nvidia advertising Nvidia technologies and whatever, and they make all the latest and greatest UIs. For the ships and stuff like that, or mobiGlas applications.
A lot of it will be parodied. So they do want to advertise the 1080 Ti. So they've got to think of a clever way of doing that in game that makes sense.
And
obviously Star Citizen's going to have restrictions on the adverts that they have there, and it will be in law.
So. And we saw the Hull series ships, the bigger ones with the truck, and they have the big advertisements on the side.
Banners on the side. And while they realistic and authentic are two different things. Authentic means authentic to the universe and sort of feels real to the universe. And I want to make that distinction, and that's really important. But yes, I agree with that. I think that that's a fantastic idea, and hope that My big thing is I hope other companies are on board for that. I think it's been shown that CIG is on board with that. I want to see other companies be on board with that. And I think that would be really cool. It's moving into the future, especially as people move towards more video games for entertainment and away from traditional media like TV and stuff like that. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, and it just doesn't affect the release date of the game, and it doesn't put pressure on them. I like that.
And it would be easier for us to get sponsors for the podcast.
Do you think that we're going to be able to get paid in game for advertising AMD on the side of our Hull E's?
You could.
Obviously in UBC.
You could in credit. Yeah, not real money.
Yeah.
But yeah, in credit. Possibly.
Kind of like that idea now.
But you could also have organizations that are paying or individual players, right? Like that could pay other players to advertise their org or to advertise something else for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're buying and selling or whatever, right? Which would be really cool. Commander Riker says, "Hey guys, I've been wondering what you guys think about the command and control centers in the ships and what they'll be used for initially, and also the end goal for command and control use in the PU. Thanks again for the podcast."
I still like that's. I still don't. I can't envision it yet.
So for me, command and control literally allows you to command large fleets, command your coordinate your allies and stuff. So I'm thinking big map rooms where I can coordinate stuff in the sector. Sorry?
We've seen those big globe things, right? Now, they don't always need to be big globes. They can be a big globe on a screen. They don't necessarily have to be... Yeah, like we've seen them in like the Idris and stuff where they have the globe. But you could put that information into a screen or something like that as well.
But what you want from them is to be able to correlate and coordinate data from multiple sources and then send it back to those multiple sources. So you can go... you guys go here, you go here, scan here. I've seen some enemies here. You want to be able to do that. You basically want to have the command, almost like a commander view that you used to have in Battlefield games.
Yes, exactly.
Like a strategy view, effectively. And correlate that data. Strategy view for the map, effectively.
And I'd like to add on to that and say that information should be on a micro and a macro level. So you can see, while you can see where exactly how your ships are like the formation is, you should also, if you wanted to, and they're in your same fleet, be able to send the information back on all the different systems. So you know what ships are under distress, what ones to protect, what one, like if they're able to go into that sort of fidelity for that stuff. We know they can for the individual ships. If they're able to send that back to their main mothership or back to their main command and control ship, that would be really cool to see that stuff so you can see those warnings.
A huge thing that the Terrapin's going to be able to do, working in conjunction with the command and control ships, literally like hiding in an asteroid belt near an enemy fleet and just sending the information back so that you can engage them in the right way, that command and control ship. So I think it's really important that they get that right, but they can do it pretty simply. Simple is better for strategic maps, in my opinion.
Right.
So...
Yeah, like what Battlefield games? I was going to ask what Battlefield games did they have that in? Because I just don't see it in Star Citizen 3 and 4. Oh, I have 4, so I can check it out, I guess. But I just don't quite. I can't see it because I've never experienced Star Citizen with more than a few people. So I haven't experienced a large scale battle with a big ship, and like.
Can I explain to you how I picture it in my mind?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to use the example of the Idris with a big globe. Okay, so within that globe is a certain range that your sensors can put out or whatever of your friendly ships. And then you see all of your friendly ships in a physical location, similar to how we see them with the Holoviewer, right? Okay. So you can see all of those ships or whatever. And then whenever one of those ships registers as firing or registers as taking damage or any sort of major thing going on, you can see that information, and then you would be able to maybe click on that ship or whatever and see more information into that. So then you can say, okay, guys, even though the captain of that ship knows as well, right? You know what I mean? So the captain would be able to see, oh, the power's gone out, but we haven't been shot, so it must be from the inside. Yeah. So you can confirm that information with command and control, right? And be able to figure out how your fleet goes and all of that stuff. And
They're
that's
thinking
sort of
very
what
micro as well.
yeah, being able to go down that micro level. It's there. It's going to be there for the ships.
Yeah.
So whether they're going to be able to communicate that yay or nay, I don't know. But on the macro level, for sure, being able to do the formations, being able to see who's firing, who's taking damage, at the bare minimum, I think it would be great for that. So then you can be like, okay, our retaliators they're focus firing on the retaliators, guys. We need to start protect them, get the big ships in front of them, or whatever the strategy is that you need to do based on that.
Even at the most micro level, just like pinning targets, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Being
That's
able
super important.
being able to tag a target for all the entire fleet to see. Be like, okay, guys, we're gonna focus fire this guy, or set multiple targets based on priority.
Yeah.
Ketchup Ninja says, do you think CIG will expand the Frankfurt office with Crytek having its difficulties and possibly going under?
Sorry, I thought of something just at the end there. What I would like to see also from that command and control center is being able to go, and I want you guys to all warp to here and set that as like a waypoint locations and that sort of stuff. I mean, that's
meet here, or
super fun and like it's so ergonomic, it's so user friendly. Being able to go, everyone go here now jump here.
Like similar to how the game is played in XCOM, just instead of with players' ships, and instead of you controlling them, other players control them, but you're just putting the waypoints down. So maybe even more than one waypoint for, okay, Squadron B, I want you guys to come around and flank this way. Squadron C, I want you to warp over this way and come in, like all kinds of cool stuff. There's all kinds of possibilities for that. And I think we could go on forever about that.
Yeah, sorry,
No, it's all good.
More things popping in my head.
But moving on to Ketchup Ninja's question, with CIG expansion in Frankfurt, with Crytek having its issues, what do you think?
So I think they're grabbed some good people. I know they've just grabbed someone from Turtle Rock Studios. Who?
What did Turtle Rock work on? Evolve. Okay.
And Left 4 Dead.
Oh, those are good games.
Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Evolve almost was a good game.
It was a good idea.
It was a good idea. But I mean, I think they're going to probably grab some. There's definitely going to be some resumes coming in from the Crytek staff.
And I think there's going to be some recommendations from internal, like people who've worked with those people as well. I think that it's very probable that we're going to gain some people from Crytek. By we, I mean CIG.
It feels like we sometimes.
I know. So I think that CIG will attain some Crytek people, and I think that's only going to be to the benefit, right? Like people knowing the base engine and how the coding of the engine works and whatever, get caught up to speed a lot quicker. The training is going to be a lot less for someone from, say, an external studio that maybe hasn't worked on CryEngine before or whatever. It's a lot easier to get them into the fold and get them on the ground running. And I think that that's an asset at this point in Star Citizen. Brevols84 says, if sound is supposed to be simulated in a vacuum within Star Citizen, is there a point to having muffled sounds when you're in a vacuum besides immersion? Well, there's gameplay. And I've said before, and I'm going to show you guys maybe today the sound stuff. So how that's going to, how Shattered Horizon does it. And why I think that adds to the gameplay and the immersion instead of just doing it for the sake of realism. So while it does add to the realism and immersion, it still makes it for fun gameplay and makes you make choices, which is what all games are about, right? Is that interaction and making more choices. So that's why I stand on that.
I'm with you.
No.
Sometimes I got nothing else to add. Sometimes you nail it, man.
Isn't it? It's all just vibrations and space.
I don't think it's that big deal. I think it's just to make it cool.
Yeah, and implementing it. Gritspitter says, do you know where it shows your current fire mode for rifles on the HUD? Or does it at all? Doing the fire mode default being C and heal being V, I often change my fire mode without realizing it.
Me too, and it doesn't show on the HUD.
It doesn't show on the HUD, and I changed my heal to H. So I didn't do that anymore.
Instead of changing my fire mode, go prone on the ground in front of people.
That's what X does. And I have to be careful that when I press X, I'm not changing my fire mode. But yeah, right now it doesn't show on the HUD. And it doesn't show on your weapon either. I would really like CIG to have... They have it in Counter-Strike, where you can inspect your weapon and look at your weapon. And they do it when you take it off of... when you inspect it at like one of the stores in, say, Grimhex or... Olisar, where you take the weapon down and you look at it. I would like a key where you can like pull your weapon out and look at it for any like little status things, like a little LED screen to see how much ammo you have, or to see what mode it's in, or things like that. I think that would be really cool and would be a very welcome addition to the emote list to be able to do that. But yeah, right now you can't see. You just kind of got to shoot and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Darthspock says, before the Idris and the PU, do you think CIG should consider a shard layout of the Idris like an ArcCorp non-combat shard to walk through and stations controls?
Huh?
So do you think they should make the interior of an Idris its own level that you can just sort of go into and run around without being able to go to the outside to sort of learn it before the ship's even flyable?
Yeah, I think that's cool. I'd like to see it. I'd like to see it as a level. I'd like to see it as its own separate Star Marine level or something.
I would like to see a stationary one that the whole goal of it is to get it up and running, and then as soon as it's up and running, the match is over. Right?
Yeah.
So there's no flying of it, but you still get to explore it, you still get a feel for it, and I think that would be really cool.
Yep, yep.
Captain Black Francis says, with current Star Marine testing, I notice most people stick to gravity and regular tactics of first-person shooters while on the ground. Have you come up with any strategies you'd like to use with 0G on any of the maps, such as flanking, shooting positions, etc.?
0G makes it hard to shoot.
And easy to kill.
Mhm.
Like because you don't
really
move,
easy.
you move more predictably, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and they can't really hurt you when they're... Well, they can hurt you when they're flying at you, but it's really hard for them to hit you.
Yeah.
I think as we start to see more 0G stuff, you'll start to see more 0G tactics. But because the maps right now are heavily based around, while they're not, there is some EVA involved, but they're heavily based around gravity, and there's no ability to turn the gravity off in these stations, that you're not going to see a lot of people coming up with 0G strats yet. I think that once we start to get maps where you can turn off gravity or that are primarily EVA with low amounts of gravity, that's when you're going to start to see more of these strats of coming from 360 degrees.
Yeah.
Sid Leah says, do you think a Dragonfly will fit in the Cutlass Red? We know for a fact it's going to fit in the standard Cutlass, so I don't imagine why they wouldn't have...
It might be full of medical equipment.
Full of medical equipment?
We don't know.
If they have, like, they make a little... Or they may not even have to make the variant. You just fill the cargo on the Dragonfly with medical stuff. But it's... I imagine it will fit. But it may not. They may use that cargo space for, like, medical beds and stuff like that. So it may not. We'll just have to wait and see. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think you'll be able to. Maybe only the black. Unless you remove the module, which then would defeat the purpose of the Cutlass Red.
Yep.
And we don't know if the ramps are the same or if the sides open up on the red. We don't know yet.
But the
We don't know
black,
if they're module variants or hull variants.
the black for sure does.
Yes.
Revols84 says, how often do you think they will update and iterate on Star Marine?
It might be similar to Arena Commander, where they do it for a while and then they get kind of comfortable with it, and then they come back and balance it after they've spent time in other aspects of the game. Yeah.
Hopefully, rapidly over the next couple of patches, and then it'll be in a good enough place that they don't need to.
Yeah.
That would be my hope.
Yep, I agree. And then it's just a matter of balancing weapon output damage or armor or whatever. Like, I'm hoping they solidify all of the base mechanics for Star Marine, like the limb stuff and whatever as time goes on, and then figuring all that stuff out as it goes.
And quickly going back to the Dragonfly question, Matt Sherman typed in the chat. So something also to keep in mind with the Dragonfly scrambling from any of the Cutlass models, the Dragonfly isn't there for free, so you'd have to be giving up something in any of the models to accommodate that. That includes the black.
So the
probably
black would be cargo
space for the black. Yeah. But
exactly. And our last question here is from Proximus. What is your take on fast travel in the persistent universe? And he gives a scenario. There's an org event in a certain system or region under the control of an org, and it's under attack, and all members need to get to that system as quickly as possible. Would they be able to fast travel, or do they have to go through the usual jump points and the standard time it takes to get there?
You should have to be able to go through the standard jump points. I don't...
Yeah. And if you've found faster jump points on your own, or your org knows of faster jump points to get there, then that's where it's beneficial to you. So I don't think you should be just instantly warped to there. I don't think that's how that should work. You would need to scramble them to get them there. And that's it for our questions for today. Guys, I'm going to put another hour still on this giveaway because it is so big. Exclamation point 2.6 in chat. Remember, we do have the monthly giveaway that Twerk is going to put that link in chat for me. Please and thank you. Love you.
Remember, the redacted one?
Yes.
I just zoned out.
Yeah, the monthly one. Also remember that this podcast is sponsored by Airline. They did just release their new Mod Mic 5. Patreon goes a long way and is allowing us to do cool things with the website and the podcast, and we're wanting to be able to do more things like this monthly giveaway and stuff come out of that Patreon. So if you want to support the podcast and the team as a whole, that's the best way to do it, is through patreon.com/redactedtv. And also make sure to go check out our shirt store, exclamation point store in my chat. And that will link you to not only the shirts from my store, but the team as well. And the team store will also have all of the teammates' clothing stuff on there as well. So make sure to check that out.
I put them in, but they're not showing.
Yeah, it's taken its sweet time. We're gonna have to figure that out. Thank you again for coming out, guys. I'm gonna be streaming literally right after this. I'm not even gonna go offline here. So stick around, and I will see you guys very soon. All right, guys, take care, and I'm gonna hang up on this call right after we're done here. All right, guys. Love you!